about and where we really at and existing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they distract us.
Hey, hold on. K4I. Let me just say this right quick, because where do we get to the point to where we attach our core to these words and these meanings and shit, bro? I feel like that's a part of the trap too. We start to attach our damn emotions to these damn words and these meanings and shit, to where that shit, it really don't mean nothing until we make that shit mean something to us, bro.
We bring it to existence.
I hear you on that. That's kind of going back to what to kind of the dialogue Star and the rest of the couple of fellas was happening yesterday, like dropping stuff, about the word. So it's just like kind of with anything. It's kind of
logic fallacy.
The words is kind of a basis. You know what I'm saying? Give you some type of foundation to describe something, but then like the fellas were saying yesterday, and how I feel, and how I know a lot of y'all feel, we like say a lighter. You know what I'm saying? We all know, like if we different come from different walks of life, different cultures, but all of us know that a flame coming out, right? We can use it for heat, to cook something, burn something up, do whatever, but we are using different terminologies. Or check this out, some places that's still off the grid, you know what I'm saying, they probably just using a tone. So say I might say lighter, indigenous might say flame, you know what I'm saying, Star saying fire, but check it out.
George.
Illustrious Cook might be saying, he might make a sound like that. When you hear, you know what I'm saying, people know like that, he talking about fire, you see what I'm saying? So the words is just a basis, but at the same time, we know it's a negative and positive thing to everything, like a pros and cons. So what these elites is doing, they know that. They know that everybody pretty much can make up their own terminology, use ebonics or whatnot, but they confusing everybody with making these definitions, and then sometimes having the word that's the definition within the definition.
Over here, we on point.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing, then I'll fall back, because I know y'all talking about lizards.
Tell us about that over here.
And what I was gonna say is a few years back, I kind of was kind of researching into that around 2014 with the lizards, like with the shape shifting. But I don't know. I don't know if y'all remember, because I'm 43, so I don't know if y'all older or younger. But in the early 80s, they had a show. I know you older, Cook. They had a show called V.
Oh,
yeah. Now V was these lizard reptilian type of people that was hiding in sheep's clothing. They was in our skin, right? But they was reptilians underneath. And as the story went along, from my recollection, people started figuring them out through different things. So what I'm saying is, I don't know how
they satellite had broke. The satellite had broke, and the vision went away.
No, Naughty. I think you talking about. No, Naughty. You talking about they live.
Why?
Right, bro.
Yeah, they live. Yeah, that's what the show V came off of. The show V was a continuance of They Live.
Oh yeah.
Hey, somebody, if anybody can, man, hey, send Vicky the link, bro.
Man, it's all made up, man. I'm saying, I laughed at that. Like, you brought that up as true. No, I'm joking.
So what do y'all think about these footages found on the internet where, certain celebrities or random people, they have slits for the eyes. They have these reptilian shapes.
Man, no, who, like, okay, bring up one. Not who, give me an image.
Okay, so there was this footage in, I think it was Southeast Asia.
Not footage, give me a celebrity.
A celebrity? George Bush, the father.
Man, is his eye slit?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, check it out. That's what I'm saying. Back around 2014, you know, we go through different periods where we be binge and search on different stuff, and that's part of the thing that was coming up. And you know what I'm saying, motherfuckers was laughing at me at work and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you can't say no somebody's eye slit if it's not.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm going to give you like certain people who they had on video doing it, like the old coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Jimmy Johnson. You had Tupac doing it when him.
Okay, give me the
Somebody was
video.
doing.
I seen that shit. I
I
seen that shit.
No, but yeah, give me a video so I can see the eyes.
Yeah, you look. You can look it up on YouTube. What I'm telling you, I pulled away from it because I know how much credibility was into it.
No, you have
credibility.
No.
All right, did
bro,
you
got certain news anchors who was
can I say this? Can I say this?
Go ahead.
Your credibility is all you can prove. If you can't prove that dude, okay. Once you show me what was said and was given, the credibility is there. I don't have to sit there and man, I don't have to sit there and wonder.
No doubt. Listen,
man,
I tell you, it's presented on YouTube. You do the eye test yourself. You see what I'm saying? It's simple as that. It's simple as that.
Yeah. Once I do the eye, have you did it? You know, apparently you did it. And you good with me, bro. And I'm good with you. Like all I do is I try to build. Yeah. And I do get offended when I feel like I'm being lied to.
Okay,
so that's the only reason my heckles come up and I sit there.
Now hold up, bro. Y'all want to see? Yeah, hey, I'm gonna tell all y'all niggas some shit right now. Y'all want to see some scary shit, nigga? Stand in the mirror, nigga, and just stare. Look at your own eyes, nigga. Watch your motherfucking face start to morph, nigga. Try that shit, bro. Try that shit, bro. I'm telling you, nigga. I'm talking about the mirror, goddammit. Watch your motherfucking face start to take different shapes, my nigga. I promise you. Any one of y'all do that shit, you gonna see.
I stare at the sun until it become clear. Man,
fuck staring at the sun, nigga. That shit gonna blind your ass.
Well,
looking at the sun, staring at the sun is no different. It's no different from doing motherfucking a plane, doing a blowtorch on metal and shit. Them little sparks gonna fuck your eyes up, nigga. Yeah. You better not stare at the damn sun.
No.
But you're right.
Can't stare at the sun.
You got it.
And check this out.
You got it,
bro. Let me clarify myself though. What I'm saying is, I got the notification from Bro Lindsay, right, that the bill was going on. I'm not saying I believe that or know that to be true. I just came in and joined the bill, and that was part of the topic. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just telling you research I did about 5 years ago, and certain evidence that I had speaking on. I wasn't saying that I believe it and I die hard resonate with it. I just brought that up to add to what the show was prior to Lindsay shooting me the Gmail. You see what I'm saying?
K4I, I mess with you. And I wasn't saying that in that degree. I was just basically saying like let's get to an understanding. And I still haven't found it. That
indigenous, bro, to be honest, bro, no disrespect, my nigga, but I think your understanding is all over the goddamn place, my nigga. I'm just saying.
How can it be all over the place?
You be scattered, my nigga.
No. I can scatter.
You be scattered, my nigga. No, we be talking about certain shit, nigga. Then you come and flip the whole script on some other shit though. Man, come on, bro. No, I'm being real, bro. I'm being real with you, man.
Yeah, I know you just hate my guts.
No, I don't hate you, nigga. I don't think you be recognizing your conduct, my nigga. I really don't.
You know what? I'm gonna catch you right at where you at. Go ahead, where did I fall off at him? No. Yeah, I did, and I caught it. And I did shut up.
What's the topic, gentlemen? What's the topic? Somebody catch me up, fill me in, any of that. What's up? Good evening, happy Friday.
Miss Vicky. I messed up at.
No, I was
That's
talking
right.
about Vicky. Hey, Vicky, I was saying some shit about I'll ask the question. I posed the question. I said, do y'all think these motherfucking political motherfuckers is getting orders sent down from other humans, or y'all think these motherfuckers getting orders sent down from other outside beings, like extraterrestrial type entities or demons or some type of higher intelligent, super intellect, super mind powerful motherfucker like type shit? You know, that's what I posed that.
You mean like collectively or like individually? Like
group wise, and individual, and both.
Either way, coming from that source is a person that needs to be interviewed.
Huh? What?
That's indigenous. Talk to that nigga about that shit. He's saying.
Tell that
nigga to explain. Tell that nigga to explain what you hun about, nigga, because that nigga burning.
No. You explain what you said.
I just did.
No,
I understood what he said. I didn't understand what you were saying about getting interviewed.
While I was listening. No, explain exactly what you said again.
No, he was saying that same source that the bro just started talking about. He deserved the interview, or that's where you look to go and get an interview from. You don't look to get the interview from the person.
Naughty. Hold on. I'm about to make y'all niggas laugh right now, because I swear, Diddy, man, you seem like you got one of them Men in Black little aliens inside of you, nigga. And you just got a damn suit on. You got a human suit on, my nigga.
No, you got a suit on. Like, how you gonna say
nigga? That's how you seem, my nigga. Like, you got a human suit on, my nigga. Like, it's some type of bug. It's some type of bug buried inside you.
Like, how can you add a movie into
you be off, nigga. Like, bro, you be off, bro.
Okay, maybe I was off. But how can you bring this into reality?
Man, you just listen to yourself, bro. I don't even think you can do that, bro.
I can say it again.
That ain't even what the fuck we talking about, though, bro.
No, bro. Exactly what you just said.
All right, you got it.
Movie into reality.
You got it, did you?
No, you.
Okay,
no, you
who
have it.
said something about the sun?
Explain how Men in Black is evidently explains how Black men live life.
What are you talking about? We ain't even talking about that, bro. We weren't even talking about that. That's what I mean, bro.
Men in Black is about extraterrestrials.
No, I was saying this nigga act like he got one of them little, like he got a human, like he an alien, but he got a human suit on, like he got a little alien that live in his chest or something.
Or like Pluto Nash.
No, I can laugh too.
This nigga got the humanoid 3000 jacket on and shit, nigga. Like,
I want to know who was talking about the sun though, because that's a big.
Digi was talking about staring at the sun.
You know,
and I said you better not do that shit, because it's no different than a motherfucker that's welding. That's why I welder with them damn special glasses, nigga.
Okay, hold on. But yes, you can.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying, those sparks will leave those little things in your eye. That shit'll be permanent too.
Particles? You talking about seeing particle disruption? You can look at the sun. It's called sun eating, but you have to be able to do it. It's a practice. And guess what? Using your eyes is no different than using any other muscle on your body. So yeah, just if you hop up and go run without any training, you're going to be hurt as a motherfucker. So no, you don't just up and stare at the sun for an hour. That's not how that works.
That's all I was saying.
But you can do it, yes. You have to slowly do it.
The former part that you said, that's what I was saying. The latter part, I don't know nothing about the latter part of what you said.
You can't just hop up and, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know what part of the conversation I came in on, but that's what I heard personally. And I was just saying, like, that is real. You can do that. I have done this since I was a child. I know many people who can do it. I have 20/20 vision.
Vicky,
I don't have nothing wrong with me, and I'm farsighted.
Vicky, though, but see, that's the part where this nigga started talking about the sun, and we weren't even talking. We were talking about the shit that I said, that I prefaced the conversation. When I prefaced the conversation with, we weren't even talking about the sun.
All right. Okay, now I'm caught up.
Talking about the sun. That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Okay,
even talking about
say
that
about
shit.
the sun, then that made me start saying it.
Nigga, I didn't say that. You said that to yourself about the sun.
No, I ain't bring the sun out of nowhere.
Man, there's nobody say nothing about the sun but you, bro.
Okay, well, yes, as far as the topic at hand
Either
is
way,
concerned, I do believe that that is a collective thing, not so much an individual thing. But on an individual level, the 99% of the motherfuckers will do whatever it is to preserve what they have because the cost of their life and wealth is, in their head weighs more than
no,
us,
no.
period.
We was
So,
talking about the sun, and he deflecting, and he trying to run to which crevice he can find to see that. Oh, we were talking about this. No, I'm a comedian too, but at the same time, like I understand exactly what you were doing. Like I'm glad I have my sister back.
My nigga, man, take that damn
God
humanoid,
dang.
take that humanoid suit off and reveal yourself, nigga. That's what the
Now as
fuck
a
I want you.
humanoid,
That's what the
what
fuck.
make
That's what
me
the
a
fuck I want.
humanoid?
That's what the fuck I
What
want
make
you to
me a
do,
humanoid?
nigga. How
well,
you
I'm going to say
act,
this.
bro?
Man,
I'm gonna say
man,
this.
come
Shout out
on.
to
No,
Flat Plane. Shout out to
you should.
Illustrious. Shout out to Indigenous. Shout out to Knowledge. You already know what's up,
Come
Naughty.
on. Like
Shout
I
out
get right to the realness.
to everybody up here. Star
You
Squid.
can't
Squid, I don't
clown
think I've been on
me.
panel with you, but I definitely heard some of your content.
Come on. So you
Shout
can't.
out, sister. Shout out, sister.
No, hell, no. You tried to clown me. No, I will. You right. And actually, that's my girl Vic. Hey, we never met. We don't know each other, but that's hey, she realized my energy.
How do you know I mess with you, Indigenous? Well, you already know what it is, but you know how me and you have conversations that can throw off the group of us. You be having one-on-one conversations with the group. That's the best way I can put that
Man,
because y'all
this
kind of
nigga
always
having a
have that conflict with content. I'm just saying, real talk. That's just how But Indigenous has very knowledgeable things to say. But as far as the timing, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's the universe.
yeah. He have his
But
own side. He be talking with himself and shit like that.
it's
Nigga be
all love.
answering it. But I'm just
No,
saying.
it's all love. You
I'm just
gotta give Indigenous time for
I'm
real
just
talk.
pointing it out, bro. Like,
No,
damn,
you
my nigga.
feel that way.
No, ain't no feeling, nigga. It's
No,
proof, nigga.
no, you. Mm,
It's proof. It's proof, bro.
mm. Okay,
Ain't
you
no
got
saying
it. I'm
nothing, my
glad.
nigga.
I'm
I
glad.
ain't mad. I ain't mad at you, nigga. I'm just
I'm
saying, like,
glad.
nigga, what's like,
I'm glad you
are you
got proof.
like, are you okay, my nigga?
I mean, I'm perfectly honest, and I'm actually right on my square of being
All right,
perfectly
that's
perfect.
what's up. Let's keep it moving, then, man. Let's keep this motherfucking conversation going, nigga. Like, who the fuck? I want to. Well, I don't know if anybody else has something to add, but I just want to see what everybody had to say about this motherfucking controller, political motherfucking shit. Hey, Vicky, on the individual shit,
No,
I
you
wasn't
got
saying. I
mad. No,
wasn't
you got
saying.
mad that you said that.
Hold on.
I might feel him.
All right, that's cool, bro. I
You
was just
got
saying, Vicky.
mad.
I
You
wasn't
got
saying
mad. That's when I
as
stepped
this.
in.
I wasn't saying as if there was an individual motherfucker that they getting the individual orders passed down from. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about there may be.
I feel like it's individual orders, yes, but it is still a collective goal.
No. Like I'm saying. I was thinking that you were saying that it's like a primary. It's a primary motherfucker that's giving orders
No,
down to
No,
multiple
no,
groups
no,
of
no, no.
motherfuckers.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. There is
spiritual
one.
war.
There is not an end of. Here's what I'm trying to clarify. Let me clarify that. There is one order. Are you understanding? There's one set of rules, and everyone knows that. So yes, that one particular set of rules can come from a higher destination or origination, but
So the
individually,
ideology is singular. Is singular. Is what you saying.
that's what I'm saying. But
The
they are still
ideology
working as
comes
a
from
collective towards the
evil.
same
When you
said
don't
goal.
follow it, it's a spiritual war, man.
But that's the point. Even if you want to take it on the perspective of it
I
being a
got
spiritual
facts
war, it's a
now.
spiritual war,
Hey, I
cool. But
like
here's where the facts are. The facts in the spiritual war is if these people are doing anything of a malevolent intent for the betterment of themselves and not that of mankind and their brother and sister, therefore, it is one set of rules that they are adhering to. Versus where the people
but
who
the,
put in work and work harder have to follow
But
to and adhere to multiple sets of rules.
they don't know they under evil rulership.
And I will agree with that. There are a lot of people who are lower level Masons who are indoctrinated by different channels who are not aware and into what they are participating
Now,
in. Yes, you are
now
right with
let me spin y'all. Let me spin y'all with this. Now, because I'll juggle with this too. What if this is hypothetical? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Now, what if we do have a situation to where it's like what we've been taught as children with the religion, to where it's heaven, hell, the devil, and God type shit? Then what a niggas approach at that point? I'm just, this is hypothetical. I'm not
No,
saying
we
that
can't
that's the
fault our
case.
it's not a
parents. They don't
hypothetical
know.
story. It's not a
They
hypothetical. We already
all
living
just
in it. What
do
you
better.
mean?
No,
You know better. You
but
do
well,
better.
I guess let me all right, let me clarify what I mean, because how I was taught, nigga, it's burning fire, nigga. When you die, if you ain't within the motherfucking word of God, you know what I'm saying, what they say the word of God is, and you ain't following these directions, if you don't motherfucking pray, you know, worship God, you don't do all these things. I'm saying, from my understanding how I was taught, if you don't do all these things, you go into
Once
motherfucking
you
hell.
know better, you do better.
Listen to but listen
Okay.
what I'm saying
Okay.
though, bro. What I'm saying is what I'm saying hypothetical. I'm not saying that that's the case. But I'm saying what if it's actually true about all of this shit about the
Okay, you
fucking
do
God and the
better.
devil and the fallen
Start.
angels and
Start.
all.
Start.
Okay, go
Start.
ahead, go
Start.
ahead.
Start.
Go ahead,
Start.
go
Start.
ahead,
Hey.
bro.
No,
Go
you
ahead,
Hey.
can't
bro. Go ahead,
stay
bro.
in the
God is
small
taking because God
victim.
real
You
is.
can't solve.
Question.
You
Question.
can't
Question.
stay
I got
in
the
the
best
small
question.
victim.
What if everybody right?
Oh,
Then what?
you better off saying the whole time. Try to,
I was just saying, I wasn't saying it to take it like literal like this true. I was just putting it out. But go ahead, though.
Even
And I
if it is,
listen
that's just
every
it
day.
boils down to the objective. Then what if everybody right? Because then if that's the case, everyone, are we all doing the same thing, or are we, and like you just said,
Hold
are
on.
we doing the same thing, or are we individually doing different things? And if that is the case, then does that make everyone right, or does that make everyone wrong? Is there really only one right way out of all of that? And I can say that it's not, because you are taught through Christianity that there is a narrow path
well, if you
to
call
your salvation. But it says that in the both literal and the figurative, if it goes into those reflections of this is true. Now, like he said, it can also be for your better. It can take you out of a dark place to somewhere better, because maybe you needed that structure in your life. Maybe you needed that order for it to make sense. That's fine too, if that's what it takes for you. But you're saying overall, for the entire planet, you have one of two choices. I feel like that's a little crazy, don't you think? Because if God made the earth for us, then why is the inevitable result that we're going to go to the two places that are not the earth?
if you call on God, then you calling on a demon, and that's little known. But the term God is Gadriel, and that's a Satan. So when people use the word God, their linguistic is already tying them into a
I'm
demon
going to sleep.
to get that credit. I just want
When you pray, do
What?
you know who you are praying to?
well, I
What?
don't use the term God. That's
But that's the point. That's the
What?
point I'm saying. Because when when you pray, do you who are
And
you praying to?
who's your creator?
the creator is the creator, but I'm telling you the word God is a name.
Then how you
It's a
cannot
name
say
of a
that and
demon.
believe what you just said. Man,
You don't have to
God is
I'm a
how
step in
he's
front of.
no, he's just
Man, you
clarifying
making
the fact that
man.
there's titles and there's names. God
Yes,
is a
yes,
title and
you
then
live
there are
under a
names.
title, Lord of
that's
your
the thing. That's
order.
the thing you're not trying to get is the
You
fact
live
that
under a title,
God
order your
is
Lord.
a
Man, see,
name of
the
a
things that
demon.
I'm learning how to deal with is the reason why I'm getting out of it. No, you trying to
I see.
stay in.
I see some
Yeah,
shit
man,
got
come
started.
on, I'm being real as I
I see
can.
some shit got started up when you talk about this God shit. Go ahead though.
Come on, I'm being
Hey,
real as I
let
can. Like
me
the reason why we in
Right
this crap
there.
because
let me
these
say
people.
something real quick.
No, the reason why we in this crap because the people that taught us,
Go ahead.
motherfucker, had us in it.
That's why you got people calling on God and they think they praying to the deity.
No, they not. They praying to some other source of energy
They
that
praying to a demon
that's
and they
feeding
calling
off
on God.
that's feeding
See,
off of them. It's the
both of
opposite.
y'all right. Both of y'all are
Yes,
right.
thank you.
That's why
Because
they say God is Satan.
what
Hey,
Red Squid is
illustrious,
saying
what's good?
was good. What Red Squid is saying is right. when you call on that name.
No, I'm not down it.
No. Just let me say
it
this.
just feed right with my spirit.
It didn't feed right in my spirit either, but it's true. What he's saying is, when you say that name, you're not actually calling on who you think you're calling on. And what the other dude, indigenous, is saying that it's been working for him. So both of y'all are right.
But also, what indigenous said is.
No.
Indigenous also said that you are calling on an external energy that is not your own from an external source. So that's where they both are right at. That's where you both are true. That's where we're all true. And that's where it comes in. Hold on. That's where it comes into. That's why I asked the question. So when you do that, how do you know to whom you are praying?
I know your question.
Because of deception. Because I'm just saying, if you're saying based off this philosophy, if you're basing it off of this philosophy, then you also have to accept the fact that there's going to be deceptions given to you as well. Therefore, the mass confusion of the many tongues.
Regardless, you still gonna call on some type of title.
They pray on the Most High.
Every side of a war, thank you.
Because I got something to drop on y'all.
Go.
Y'all can't. If you can't, the human tongue, the human tongue wasn't even designed to pronounce the word. God's true name, his real name, the human tongue was not even designed to pronounce it.
Do you know why? Because you are not using. You are not using your true form of communication. Who says this all the time? You are not using your vocal cords as you could actually use your vocal cords. It's a reason they're called cords.
I'm hearing all this, and the Most High saying that was the reason of deception.
That is
this the reason of the many tongues.
They call it chords because it's through vibration, it's through music.
And the frequency
it's
of the 440.
You preaching to the choir over here.
Yeah, I hear you.
But who said we can't pronounce God's true name?
There's a vibration without sound, though. There's a vibration without sound.
Exactly, but you're also not able to use your natural tongue because you can't use your vocal cords. So you cannot pronounce anything correctly.
And he's saying that you're not able to. So
this is all you reach.
Man, y'all gotta excuse me. I'm bringing everybody back in right now, man. I don't know what just happened. It went out. Um, so I gotta bring everybody back in. Thank you guys for being patient. Excellence loss. There we go. There we go. Y'all give me a minute. Okay. Be back in.
Your surroundings is the first damn clue.
Mm.
So can
My life kind of my whole like my life is
and talking
Vicky just did a mic
that's why I
drop.
can still think
that
about
against
that.
reptilians?
Say what? Reptilian? Like what
I mean,
reptilian
like
come
when
from?
you say that, you know, you talk to, you got your own communication and your own name for the most
Not all
high.
I said was I
How
speak
can you
things
apply
into
that?
reality. Hey, I holler at y'all.
Knowledge, that's you, knowledge.
That's just training.
No, that's Justin trying to talk, but when he tried to talk, everybody else started talking, so you couldn't hear him. Go ahead, Justin. Let's see how you sound.
I know everybody open about 4 people open on the mic at one time. Like everything so disturbed.
Oh no,
Nah, you robotic. You got a
yeah,
bad
your
connection, bro.
your shit fucked up. That's why we couldn't hear you.
For real.
Yeah, I thought it was everybody jumping in. That wasn't it.
I was like, oh no.
You didn't even have to do him like that.
My bad.
Nah, we ain't do like that. We just bring realness to the situation. Like, dude, you need to disconnect to reconnect. Like, whatever that situation is,
Because it looked like he's
it's
still
all
talking.
bad.
It looked like he's still talking, but
Let
can't
it
nobody
go.
hear him.
Just let it,
No, he's still
just
talking.
let
He
it go.
going
Just
in.
let it go.
Hey, he
Don't
going
let it stop. Let it go.
he going in and don't even know it.
He going in like a
He's still alive. He didn't let it go yet. He's still there. Let go, boy. Let go. Let go.
We can't hear you, bro. Justin,
And
go out.
don't even ask us if
Go
it's
out and
still
then come back
bad.
in, bro.
Because we ain't gonna never hear you.
No, we
No,
club.
we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
we know you're talking, but we can't hear you.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
God dirty.
Please come out. Please disconnect. Please. You're fucking up the whole program.
So let me ask y'all. Let me ask. So let me
I just spit my
y'all.
water out.
Let
me ask y'all.
bro. Okay.
Let me ask y'all. Let me ask y'all.
What about now? Y'all hear me
All
now?
right, go ahead.
You got it, Star.
Y'all hear me now?
I want to hear you.
Yes, we can hear you better. Yeah.
I'm good now.
Yeah, you good.
You got it.
God damn, y'all roasting my head.
But you all good.
Go ahead and
Hey,
build, bro.
Still, hey, we like little brothers and big brothers, bro.
I'm talking about I don't run my mouth like a motherfucker, man. I was talking like a motherfucker. Y'all, I mean, y'all ain't hear a damn thing. I was talking like a motherfucker, man. I mean, God damn, I argued, wasted out there.
That's deep.
Damn.
That's deep. You didn't have a chance to defend yourself.
Man, I'm way behind, man.
Catch up. Where you got to deal with? Where you dealing with?
I mean, I ain't running.
The mic is yours.
Hey,
Quiet down, Digi. Let it talk.
I'm gonna go all the way back when y'all talking about praying. And Nick and I think this Nicky over here with no face, this Nicky. We done talked about this before. What y'all think about praying to your ancestors about things? What y'all think about dealing with your ancestors about things? Going to them about problems? What y'all think about that?
Man, go into what you really want to deal with, like prehistoric and who? That's bro. I mean, I'm really
I'm
not
dealing with that Monty.
Okay, you want to hear my answer on prehistoric talk?
X pills and shit.
Man, I thought you was about to go into it.
He come in clear to get burned up. Right?
No, I want to really deal with it. Like, you gonna start off with that? Like, that's why I don't believe in dinosaurs.
Man, what the fuck you saying?
You said prehistoric.
We love you, man. We just joking right now. We just joking.
Yeah, that's a real question to ask.
Hey, no, okay. So
no,
what
we
I
just
think about my
joking.
ancestors? You meant to say?
Man,
I feel
y'all talking about spirits, man. Y'all don't deal with spirits?
I feel I am.
Y'all mean tell me y'all don't deal with spirits?
I feel I am my ancestor, big man.
Your ancestors are part of you, man. I'm saying your ancestors are part of you.
No, that's what I said. No,
I actually feel like that. I feel like that whole existence is what came. My first existence is what made me to this existence.
That tied us to the Creator.
When you're in the spiritual realm, you're dealing with spiritual beings. What y'all talking about? You dealing with spirituality. That's what fucking divination, all that stuff here is. You dealing with spirituality. So what you mean? Like there ain't no joke when you dealing with spirituality.
You mean like when T'Challa went into the spirit realm and talked to his uncle and shit?
Like I feel like I wasted
not literally
seconds of my life.
I'm talking about using the energy, man.
Because you wanted to.
Or when David went to the spiritual realm and talked to that king, and he said, "Give me a sweat off of your brow, for it's hot down here."
I'm ready.
That was Samuel.
Ready for what?
Oh, that was
Samuel. On the soldier.
Samuel, okay.
Wake up.
Is that what you're talking about, Bridget?
No, man, talking about no damn Bible, man. I don't refer nothing to no damn Bible, man.
Then what's your question?
What you mean?
I'm talking to y'all about the spiritual realm. Y'all talking about
like, what are you asking?
Nah,
Bridget. To have an argument?
Communicate with the spirit.
Come on,
no, I don't communicate with no spirits.
So, like, which ones would you be communicating with?
What is your argument?
I communicate with myself and my own thoughts and my life, relatives.
Well, I guess he's saying like, just if it's your grandmother, your great grandmother passed, and you feel you still have a connection to her, and and sometimes people feel like when they do things that their ancestors are giving them guidance or something to that extent. That's what you talking about, brother?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What?
I'm just saying. I'm trying to kind of collaborate on what you're talking about.
Yeah. No. Hold on, did you? But no.
Listening.
No, I can't deal in the spirit realm.
I'm getting pissed
because I'm not in a spirit form. I'm
talking about your inner self, your spiritual self. You feel what I'm saying? Your inner self. That's your spirituality.
So you should ask how we feel about it instead of saying.
I deal with myself. But if I go and put say my grandmother, that's like me putting Jesus there too, Jesus Christ there too.
Man, there are spiritual forces that control you, control the world. That's all they gotta do. The zodiac, all that stuff is energy, man.
Now, things don't control you. Shit just happens. This is how you react to it that recounts.
Right.
Hey, look, man.
Nigga, flat, nigga, you got that from me, nigga. I've been said shit.
You got that from me, Star.
Check him, Vicky. We gonna fight, nigga. We just had a whole dissertation about that shit that's out of your goddamn control, goddamn.
No, I didn't say nothing out of my control. I say how you react to them is your control. That's what I said.
Yeah, yeah.
Y'all believe? Nah, nigga, you said shit happens, motherfucker.
Yeah, shit. I said.
He said, but how you react to it is what
That's what I
accounts.
said. And what
That's your control.
my original thing was it's still certain shit that's out of your goddamn control. God damn it.
No, it is your control. How you react to it is your control.
No, when it happened, you don't control it when it happened. God damn it. No, it don't matter.
Shit, the law tell you control it.
It's how you present it.
Your ass will go to jail. Your ass will go to jail no matter how you feel.
It's a reason people act the way they act, y'all. It's a reason people act the way they act. It's everything else, man.
Flat Plane was right with what he said. He said shit happens and it's how you respond to it that matters.
Is what hold it count.
What I'm saying is shit that happens you don't control. God damn it. That's what I'm saying.
That's what he said.
No,
That's what he said.
I was answering. No, what I'm saying is shit that happens you don't control.
You do control. That's the shit out.
You don't. You don't control the shit that happens. You don't. Okay, let me say it like this. Because you don't. Okay, let me say it like this. Once they say it, you have to react. Who cares about control?
Shit, why wouldn't you care about control? Nigga, you gotta have control.
Power is everything.
I don't understand how the hell y'all don't believe in goddamn motherfucking spirituality and motherfucking energies that do all day, every day. You just don't realize what the fuck energy and shit be going on and everything be going on around you.
Spirituality.
How do the spirits choose when they get answered the phone and shit? Like which spirit? Like technically we got trillions and trillions of dead spirits that will our answer.
Shit, Red, if you want to contact that spirit, man, you can do that shit right now, bro.
Huh?
But
if you wanted to contact a spirit, man, you can do that shit right now, bro.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that unless they got.
But also, like, if you need something immediate,
can I give you
you can literally do that shit right fucking now, nigga.
Can I give you guys a bite of reality? A bite of reality is the spirit is all in emotions, bro. Your emotion. If you inside of a church, apostolic church, and you see one of them people jump up in the Holy Ghost and dancing and all in the spirit, it's of their emotional aspect is what their spirit is deriving them into.
That's they hope. They hope that Jesus is fucking them in the ass or something. That's why they.
But listen to the spiritual part.
Hey, so you saying it ain't no such thing as invoking an invoking spirit?
That's fucked up.
So
I'm saying that, but I'm saying whatever you.
So you saying ain't no such thing as invoking and evoking spirits? You saying
yes,
all I'm saying is, in reality, whatever spirit you calling emulates through you, which is your emotions. Whatever emotion you in, you call that spirit on. That's the emotion you gonna represent. So in tune, you are creating that spirit, bro.
Yeah,
it could be the spirit of Jesus.
And that's when they create it. That's when they control it.
Emotion. You can have the spirit of your ancestors. You can have the spirit of a wolf, the spirit of a bear.
Now hold on, y'all. Oh, y'all. Hold on, y'all.
I do want to speak on that, like 100. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, let's. I want to hear everybody. I'm sure everybody want to hear each other. Let's try to work on like everybody, taking turns and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been talking over each other. I'm guilty of it too. I'm just saying.
Let me go real quick. Go ahead. Like, Mom, like to bring up the scriptures, it says that you're not supposed to call on the dead, because typically when people call on the dead or spirits, it's really demons taking on that identity. So you're not really talking. You know what I mean? You might be talking to people that's like pretending to be them.
What's up, girl?
Mute your mic, bro.
Hello? Huh?
Mute your mic, G.
Shit. Who talking?
That's Justin.
Justin, touch the mic.
No, he touched it, but he went back out. I think Vicky was saying something.
Yeah, Vicky. Go ahead, Vicky.
Give me a second.
Okay, go in, K4I. Go in, Flat Plane. Go ahead, K4I, go ahead.
No, you talking about dealing with the spirit?
Yeah.
I mean, I more think it's still dealing with, you know what I'm saying, with feeling somewhat too, because a lot of times when you experience things, you know what I'm saying, you get you know that gut, you get a certain feeling, or your body, right? You get a certain aura comes
Emotion.
over,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
certain aura comes over, and you
Discernment.
kind of like hone in, like yo, something, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's good or not, you kind of just get very in tune and focused, you know what I'm saying, and try to really track what really, you know what I'm saying, biting at the bit, you know what I mean?
Discernment.
So what the real question? I want to ask a real question now. When people talking about spirit or going other places and this and that, do a person really come outside of themselves?
Yes, because mm, 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 mm.
No matter what you emulating, you're still that person.
Yes,
You
no,
still
you're that image body that's living that image as soul.
Man, you can leave your body, man. You can leave
Alright,
your
I want to
body,
comment.
man, and be invoked, man.
So I think that what a lot, you know what I'm saying, would say it was just like 100. And it's the fact of, you know, me, I take everything on the whole aspect. So when it is, you know, come down and answer your question with, you know, when it comes to calling and evoking and invoking or being on an emotional level, that's the micro and the macro. So can both things be true? Oh, of course. But what we talking about is on the macro. That's what we're trying to get over to. Just throw that out there. So meaning basically like what you saying on the micro level, how people are in churches and having the Holy Ghost. That's a micro level to me. Because we know that's something emotional and eternal going on right then in that moment. I do not believe every last one of those people are doing that. Absolutely not. That's bull. No.
what about the voodoo man over in certain countries that practice voodoo?
But that's the point. We talking about things on the macro when we talking about stuff like we're creeping up that way.
But wouldn't that be the
So
only
That's the
example
shit
of
I'm talking about, man. That's what
spirituality
I'm
we
about
have?
to say. I'm about to say that voodoo shit is fucking shit
No,
up, man.
okay. So is voodoo
no, I'm saying if you
evil
draw a line on a piece of
or
paper,
righteous?
if you draw your line on a piece of paper, you drawing a spectrum. On the micro end is that. On the macro end, that's where you headed to. That's what you trying to rediscover. You trying to remember.
So you reading voodoo on the lower level instead of on what voodoo
I'm
was
not saying that's on
intended
the
for
micro. I'm
on
saying
the
that's
righteous.
creeping
No,
towards
not
the
you.
macro. Oh,
I'm speaking in general. I'm speaking to the ether. Is voodoo intended for good or bad?
Man, you got good and bad
Hey
in
man,
anything, man.
I just want to know if you say if you saying
got,
are you saying to do or you saying to die, nigga? Like to die, like you trying to do a trick, nigga? Go ahead, though.
Yeah,
you got anything you do, you got a good and evil. Anything you do, you got a good and bad. Anything you do, it's a good and bad.
but the energy itself is neither or. It just is.
That's a perception.
The definition of voodoo is static.
That's why I'm giving it that way. How can I say voodoo bad and try to explain it as how can you look at it as?
But have you ever thought about, you know, I always say micro, macro, but when you think of life, everything
what
like comes.
See, that's a distraction.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Man,
when you think about macro.
No, start over.
Hold on, DJ.
No,
We're
he has
taking
to start
turns.
over to the question. The question is, what is voodoo? He's coming in. What
No,
do
the
you do if
the
this
question
was
is,
done?
you need to shut the hell up, man, and let
No.
the man
The
talk,
question
bro.
is, what is
Who
voodoo
gives a
bad?
damn? We know what the question is,
but
man. Just
God
damn it.
Do you want the
Get
answer?
somebody. We want to hear the answer from somebody else.
You know, okay, well, let's get it.
Mute your goddamn mic.
Quran flapping.
Okay, when I was thinking about, you have to think about like everything comes in like threes. You got mother, father, child, sun, moon, earth, Then when you have the conjunction of everything, yin and yang, up and down. So you think of micro, macro. You ever thought about it, something in the middle of that that's connecting to both? And if that's the point of singularity,
Life.
if that's the point of singularity that you're supposed to try to be at, the balance.
You want to talk about a numerical lead? Life, 0, evil, 4. Okay. You want to talk about the numerical lead? Life and death. What's in between? You got two significant dates as a person, when you born and when you die. What's in between? That's that. Because the point is you tapping into that for every inevitability possibilities that
Yes,
can be conceived.
that's what I'm saying. So when we say micro, macro, you never thought about what's in between them, which is you, because you have to acknowledge micro and macro and micro. So everything comes back to you. You are that in between that acknowledge it, because nothing exists unless you acknowledge it.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
but back to that. That's the middle. That's also not the ether.
Come back to you then, right? So
That's
so
also not part of the ether.
So
but
I'm just saying. So you are
you
the middle
make
of
the
this.
micro and macro.
You are the middle of that seesaw.
Check
Yeah.
this.
So
Check this out.
everything.
Yes,
So
yes,
shouldn't life?
absolutely. I mean, what you're saying
I
is
want to say.
100%. You are the
I want to say something
manifestation
when
of
y'all
it.
get
Yes.
done. When y'all get done, I want to
Go
say
ahead,
something.
go.
No, I was just gonna say this whole micro macro thing. The thing is with that, if you want to say it's a micro macro, there has to be a starting point. Like in order for you to go to extreme negative or extreme positive, meaning in other words, extreme minimalizing something or and extreme maximizing something, there has to be an arbitrary starting point. So
But see, that's
hold on. What I'm trying to say is to where there really is no micro macro. It's just a continuous, like it's like a continuous infinity. It's like an infinite.
okay.
It's like an infinite. It's like an infinite mirror of whatever place
Exactly.
that it's
Exactly.
going from. That
Exactly.
it's
And what do we say about that? And that's what I'm saying. Okay, so again, if we're talking about the spectrum, when you're talking about the micro macro, it's not a origin, it's an event horizon. That's what I was telling you that night when we were talking about the reflection of the two mirrors. When you step in the elevator and the mirrors are facing, you can't see past that point of the event horizon. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but it is there. So on the micro scale, you have an event horizon. On the macro, you have an event horizon, and that's where everything intercedes.
But hold
And
on,
when
Vicky.
and
Hold
where
on,
they
Vicky.
meet in the middle is you.
Oh, now hold
Right.
on
Your
though.
Absolutely.
recognition. You're
Hold on.
recognizing it.
But hold on. We gotta even with that reflection. There's a world that exists beyond the reflection. Also,
But that's the point. As he said,
it's not
about
all
you.
inclusive of the reflection.
You are the manifestation coming out of that ether. If we're talking about it again on the numerology scale, on the number scale, then we're talking about the 0 1 right now. That's where that comes in.
There's only a zero if you're involving arbitrary. There ain't no zero, and there ain't no one. You can never when you talk about that's what I mean by decimal. That's what I was saying with the decimal. You can never even get past. You can't get to the right of the decimal because there's no starting point. You just continuously
You get past the
bro,
decimal with the you get past the decimal with an integer. It's only divisible within itself.
On,
Thus
no,
zero.
hold on. You only get past there. You have to have an arbitrary position, or that what you consider as a starting point. That's the only way you can get past it. Otherwise, your starting point will always go to negative. It would always go to infinity negative, where there's no starting point, where it just continues to go minimize, where there is no starting point. You can't even get past the decimal because you can't even get because there's no starting point. If you want to create a starting point, it's arbitrary. You have to arbitrarily do it. You have to make the starting point up. You have to make it up.
Again, it's not making it up. It's divisible within
It's making
itself.
it up.
It's
It's
divisible
making up.
within itself.
You're making it up. You're making up the starting point. You have to. You have to in order to get past or to even grow. Where's your starting point? Where is the default starting point? There is none. You have to make it up. You literally have to create. You have to make it.
But if
You have to
that's the
make the
case,
starting
then
point.
there's nothing out of something instead of something out of nothing.
Well, if we want to consider creation, then that's what it is. Hey, that thought of nothing, maybe it was. I don't know. I don't fucking know. What I'm just saying is, if you want to have a starting point, you
You have to arbitrarily make it.
But how
You have
is
to just,
that
you have to
true
create
when
it.
it comes to laws outside of the things that which we are confounded by?
Laws like
That's
what?
where
We
the
confounded by we confounded. Okay, go ahead.
hold on. I'm just gonna
Go
drop
ahead.
a punchline. He said laws like what?
No, I'm just asking. I'm just jumping in.
Hold on. He said laws like what? I'm gonna answer that with real simple. Everything that Gary says. Boom. But everything Gary said, we're talking about that because he brings up every freaking international law that he finds within nature to be true, but that is only for the comprehension level of which you are interacting in with your said environment. We're talking about a whole nother environment, so those things do not necessarily only apply. I don't believe that.
Look. It's a multi-level within this structure of what we have right now. Like just for the physical, I'm gonna just speak on the physical aspect. The physical aspect, yeah, nature applies. It applies or whatever, we get to a certain area, what I'm saying. But there's also another realm to where it will seem to be abstract to where it's limitless. It's infinite. You can come up with all kind of different interpretations, just your thoughts depending on what you think about. And if your thoughts are not confined by things that was brought to you to create a defining meaning for you, then who's to say how far you would be able to go with your thoughts if you weren't introduced to those confinements or those meanings of things? You see what I'm saying? So that's the physical. Yes, it is subject to nature.
I'm gonna break it down to him about what he said about the laws.
I wasn't done
about the laws. Everything has a law. Like man's law, you can't jaywalk or you get a ticket. You have nature's law. It takes 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen to make water. So there's different levels of laws. In order to make water, this is the law. You have to have 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen to make H2O.
You take that and add it to nitrogen and carbon, and you make it human.
But y'all skipped all over the conversation. We were talking about the voodoo shit, the spirituality, the voodoo, and the energy.
Yeah, get back to that.
All right there.
Go on back to it then, big brother.
I'm just saying, y'all skipped all around that about this. Y'all act like y'all don't believe in spirituality.
Oh no, we didn't come through that. We said spirit is all in your emotions, big man. That's in your mind.
Yeah, that's
true. Not. That's what you said, bro.
It's real.
It's
very real. In the physical too.
That's what I said. Yeah, it's in your mind, man.
And if it's in your mind, it's in
so
your mind.
don't say we when just you.
Okay, me, K4I, and another explanation.
And I feel those things are true,
yeah,
and that's where the conversation went off, is because I was just saying that there's truth in that on different perspectives, and that's it.
Regardless of what you practice or what you call it, it's amazing what the mind can create if you believe it enough.
No, that's right. That's
true.
What I'm gonna say is it's the aspect of the soul realm, regardless whether or not you will have input in it or not. It don't take you you for that shit to be there. It's there.
Hold on, you said it's soul realm.
It don't take you to have any input on the spirit realm for that shit to be there, bro. Or sister or whoever.
Yeah, it has to be there, but you have to accept it. You have to accept it wholeheartedly.
You don't even got it. You don't gotta accept it though.
I'm talking for it to affect you.
You don't even gotta accept it for it to affect you, bro.
Okay,
that's
you can be the highest voodoo priest. You can be the highest. Look, you can be the highest voodoo. Look, you can be the highest voodoo priest in the world. You can be the highest voodoo priest in the world. And if I don't, you can put all the spells you want on me. If I don't accept this shit to be true, ain't shit gonna happen to me.
Bullshit. You ain't got to believe it for it to affect you, nigga. It already
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
What's a goddamn
yes, you do.
I said still gonna hit your ass.
Nah, yes, you do. Well, if it hit me, then I believed it was gonna hit me.
That shit gonna hit your ass regardless, bro.
That means I believed it to be true.
Regardless,
it's a scale on me, so it's gonna be on me.
You ain't got to believe it. It's gonna hit your ass.
Man, come on. So you saying you can be walking?
It's there,
Nah, that ain't true.
That is true.
I ain't
Now
saying
you know. Now
I didn't say
y'all
it went
know
there.
we have the apple orange conversation all the time because this is apples and oranges.
But
You already know that flat does not believe anything external can impede your ability to manifest your environment.
That's all
You
right, but he
already
still
know
said
that
it. He
star.
still
Hold
said,
on, you
but
already know that star feels like anything external is outside of your control. Shit is going to happen and it's going to affect you regardless as to what you're doing. So, with that being said, how is determined and suited for the individual may be for that unique law for a reason. Let's
look, the
leave it
reason
there.
why, okay, I'll say that because you are not yours. You are not what you saying. Your identity saying my. You're not the source of your own creation. Your creation comes from a source that is you, regardless of whether or not you're here or not. That's why I'm saying it is. It's already there for you to come through this shit to even be here.
Well, if you want voodoo to affect you, it'll affect you, Star.
Therefore, you're affected by it because you
Well, if
come
you
through
want
a
to be
source.
voodoo, you can be voodoo, Star.
Because you
hey, but
come
check this
through a
out.
source for you to even be here to begin with, bro. That's
Here you
why.
go.
That's
But
why,
Okay.
that ain't
bro. That's
necessarily
why.
about
Well,
being
if you
voodoo
want
though.
to be voodoo, go get
Hold on. Let
voodoo.
somebody else talk. Let somebody else talk. What y'all say? What you say?
Just listen to what I'm
It ain't
saying.
necessarily about being voodoo. Like, just vibe with me for a second. Like, once you take the spookism off it, they throw that shit on it, voodoo and shit, but it's really energy. And like, once energy comes, like when we break it down, it's really energy. Like, okay, like if you wake up and change your mood, that's technically being possessed by energy. So when he's saying spirits and shit, like your loved ones and your ancestors, yeah, they can communicate and they can, you know what I'm saying, appear. And you can have a spiritual motherfucking experience based off, and it ain't no spookism shit. It's real natural, and that shit do happen every day. And like, it ain't demonic or nothing, because everything like that, demonic, good, evil, fall under positive and negative. That's the first two categories. So anything under that is script. Like, they throw that spookism shit on there to like motherfucker steer you away from that shit, that voodoo and all this, but it's really vibration and it's really
But I
energy.
did.
Thank you, my brother.
I
Thank
did
you,
agree
my
with
brother.
you. I
Thank
agreed
you, my
with you on
brother.
that because
I
at
agree.
the
That
end
shit
of the
is
day,
fucking real.
but the energy always just is, and that's the part I'm trying to convey the most. The energy is. It is neither or. It is what you make it.
That's what
That's
I'm
what
trying
he
to say.
took it.
That's what I'm
So
trying to
hold
say.
on.
That's why you got to be initiated in certain things to know how to control it and know how to do things. You got to be initiated, be priests and shit, Babylons and all kind of shit like that to even know how to do that shit. That's why they
But that's
hide
the
the shit
point. No,
from
you
you.
do not. No, you do not. That's the point that we talk about all the time. You do not have to do that. You have to sit here and say that you're tired of being fucking dumb, blind, and deaf and go learn what it is that you need to learn. Because at the end of the day, something in you is going to click. Something in you is going to tick. Ooh, I got a great example about shit ticking and self-destruction. So it's funny, right?
We're
That
talking about
And
men
then we're not saying that the
people don't know
men
how to do
hold
spells and
on
shit like that.
hold on it's
no, no,
funny that black men in particular have a self-destructive clock of 25. Do you know this? Do you know that there has been instilled in you? Do you know this? Think about all the shit that went on around your life if you don't know this, because you got to make it past the threshold of 25. That's your first set of survival. Bet you didn't even know that, huh? That shit's real. For the fact that this goes on, though, genetically means something, but you don't see it and you have not paid attention to it. Because over the age of 25, it's funny how all those mannerisms and shit change, and now you're in survival mode. The ones who have sense, I know good and damn well, is 50-year-olds out here still acting like they're 12, 15 on the block when shit was hot. But besides that, why do you have an internal clock for that shit?
That even goes under the law.
but
How
yeah, because it's been
how
programmed
the
in you.
system try to lock you, fuck you up anywhere
In the
from
room?
15 to 25. They targeted up to 25-year-old male. So that
And,
has some truth to it.
and
Well,
another
see,
perception. Oh,
well,
go ahead.
but the answer to that, Victor, is all part of the program and all part of the clock, all part of man's uh, quest to try to keep up with time. It's like they program certain things in your life and you make it true in the norm. Like even with women, they say by the time you're 45, you're going into the menopause, you won't have no children, so your clock is running out. But every woman accepts that to be true, and they make it happen to their body. Just like we say when we get 70, we damn near preparing to die. 70, 75, you're supposed to be on your way out. So you program yourself to do that. Is all part of the programming. Even with that 25-year-old shit. You can't rent a car till you're 25. All that shit is all part of the clock programming.
But they're not looking at the true purpose as to what it is it's being utilized for.
And it's like on another perception what Fred Payne was saying, that's your frequency you putting out there. Yeah, they tell it to you. Like if I go around, if I'm knowing, if I'm believing and I'm putting it in the universe, like man, we dying at 25. Well, we might not make it at 25. The universe hear that shit. Like, okay, let me get him all the scenarios for that shit. And
damn
then,
real.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's your frequency of vibration. Because the nigga that's going to school in that same element, that's trying to, man, I'm a retired assistant. The universe in that and
But
giving
it's a
them this
reason they
scenario.
call it from the school to the from what they call it, the pipeline from school to prison. It's a
But
reason
check
for that.
this out. Why you want to separate it to frequency from spirituality or
But
spirit
no,
into frequency?
it's all.
It's
I'm
all
keeping
the
it all the
same.
same. I'm just giving a different perception of it. Like,
But for a lot of people, it's getting back to it's not all the same. But that's what I'm talking about. This how you have this whole thing about a whole destructive nature going on for you, designed for you, that you program with, that you're unaware of. So you made it past the first wave once you lived back 25. Because why? Because you know that they emit those signals in urban areas that fuck with your mind. And you are the most malleable when you are the youngest. That's where you find the most crime. It's reasons for that. They send out a resonance for that and fuck with people's energy levels, and that's what goes on. Chaos. That's why people who are in a freaking country or suburbs do not have what's going on out there like what's going on in the city. That's the most concentrated
Ain't that
area
what
for
the fuck I
urban.
said about the frequency, Vicky? Ain't that what the fuck I said? God damn
You
it,
know
go
me,
ahead.
you said this shit. You know
But
this.
you know they play certain sounds throughout the urban communities where children hear the frequency more than
Right.
adults.
Songs, media,
Um,
and invisible radio waves. And now on top of that shit, you also have Wi-Fi. You have devices. They've been doing this shit for a minute. They've been doing this from the time they've been able to make a first broadcast and there was an urban population. Don't be stupid. So you have to think about the fact of if you dealing with that in your environment, let's go back to the survival mode. We're talking about the basics, your environment. You got to navigate through that shit first.
yeah, you gotta go through all of that first.
It's all
And that happens irregardless if you want it to happen or not. God damn it!
But that's an event horizon. You have no control of that.
Thank you.
But the only thing you can control is how you react to it.
Exactly.
Thank you.
That's it. Again, in spirit.
Man, you can't even control your reaction if you're unaware of it, man. That's bullshit.
You always
can't control. You can't control it if you're unaware of it, man. You can't control how you react to it if you don't even know if it's there and it hits your ass.
But again, right now, we're using it on the scope.
If you can't, you can't. I'm not gonna argue with you.
Right now, we're just using it on the scope of, again, if you are in the middle of the forest, you have food, you have water, what's the first thing you need to know? Your environment. You have to know your surroundings to survive. You have to know your immediate surroundings first before you can figure out what the fuck is going on with the rest of the forest. That's the point. You don't know if a damn lion, snake, bear, tiger, whatever is going to come out. So that's the point of you navigating. You are learning your skills along the way. You will get to a position to where you can then apply said skills proficiently. And once you supersede that level, one of two things happen. You emanate to a higher level, or your ass gonna drop dead.
Look, your navigation don't guarantee your fucking survival. Goddamn, I don't give a fuck how well you survey the terrain and all of that shit. That don't guarantee shit for you. Yeah, you may be better equipped to deal with things that come your way. There's no guarantee even with that. Okay. Even with the over specialization of anything, bro. You overcomplicate. You limit yourself when you over specialize, man. To a certain degree, bro.
Gary. No, but check it. If me and you if we go,
I'm Gary now. All right, fuck y'all niggas.
Y'all wrong tonight. Y'all is wrong. Y'all flaming everybody.
If I go inside if you and I go inside of a place and we're lost now, and we choose a direction to go together, and we come across a long river and a deep river, and we have to go. No, that's out of we control that this shit didn't happen. We come across this river. Now, what's in our control is that we pass this river, find a way to pass this river, or turn around and go back.
Or go in the river and die.
Or go in the river and drown. Right.
Well,
So that's
well,
your control.
Star say you can't control that. That river gonna take your ass under, and a crocodile gonna snap your ass in two.
Nah, you can control your what happens, what's going on.
That's not what I'm saying, bro. What I'm saying is, if you're regardless of
Hold
that
on,
river,
hold on.
go ahead.
Star, hold up. No. I was gonna respond. No. Star's not saying that the river's gonna drown you and the crocodile's gonna come. What Star is saying is you can get to the river and then it wasn't a river, it was a trickle because the dam just broke and now there's all this water coming towards you from which you cannot escape. That's what Star is saying. Like, that's how he sees that. Just in case you don't know. Like,
he see disaster.
all the time. I still see a way out. I'm gonna swim. I'm gonna grab a leaf. I'm gonna grab a bush. I got to control this situation.
Goddamn, if I go in their backyard and them lions gonna eat my ass up.
No, look. I'm not so much to be so cynical, but I'm just being realistic. Like this shit can pop off, nigga, and you might not be prepared. You get caught up, like, oh shit, nigga's a rat.
I feel you,
Star. Stop. Didn't I tell you before? You take a hypothetical situation and take it to the highest level. God damn it, what if the tornado coming down and there's a spaceship following it? You can't control that. That spaceship go.
I can't.
It started doing like
y'all tripping. Can we stick to the topic? Can we get back on the topic? Like,
you're under the seats with a flashlight, like, you know what I'm saying? Scary stories and shit, man. Like doom gloom type shit.
We haven't talked about voodoo.
No, hold on, hey, Vicky, you wasn't here. Hold on, Vicky, you wasn't here when Gary was trying to tell. All right, look. Gary was trying to say, you look. We were asking what direction is down. He said you look when you look down, you look at your feet, whatever direction is your feet is down, right? So I said, so I was like, so you telling me if I was to dig into the ground feet first and go all the way to the other side, if it's a globe, because we're talking about the globe shit. And I was going to go all the way down to the other side of the globe. You telling me that wouldn't be down anymore? I would be right side up at that point. So I was asking, well, what point would I change direction? And that motherfucker got flustered and shit. But the thing is, if you want to say that the direction is down when you look at your feet, if you draw a line straight through, keep going down, then down never stops. So that means that when you even get to the other side, you're going to be upside down.
Or are you right side up?
But that's what I'm. This motherfucker. Go ahead. I'm just saying. No, I hear what you're saying. Go ahead. I'm just saying. Like that shit.
No. Gary was saying the event horizon, the magical event horizon, gonna flip you around. You ain't gonna know what happened. Just like when you cross over the equator, you know it's gonna magically flip you around. You're gonna think you're right side up.
Yeah, Lucky Charm eating ass dude, huh?
It's all the pesticides. It's all the pesticides.
Hell no.
And he gonna tell me that the motherfucker in the North Pole and the South Pole, the motherfucker in the South Pole don't know he upside down.
But that's why I asked Gary. I said, Gary, if that's true, then why in the fuck is the stars in the same position year after year? And he told us, no, we're moving. No. Bro, you cannot honestly tell me that if we are on a sphere moving at a axis on a greater axis continuously, then why in the fuck are the stars in the same position for this side of the planet and that side of the planet? What sense does that make? Everything will be rotating all the time, right? So you should be able to see certain things all the time, and other times you wouldn't see certain shit. You shouldn't even be seeing the same constellations after 1,000 years. If that's the case,
Gary be fucking with you because you can say the easiest logical shit, and he just like you know.
And my bad. I called the conversation the drift and shit, but that just reminded me what the fuck y'all niggas was saying. That reminded me of that shit.
Even if you're on the shadow on the right side in January, come July, August, isn't it? It's supposed to the shadow supposed to shift to the left side because you're supposed to be on the opposite side of the sun. Yes. I mean, that don't add up. That just don't add up.
Yeah, that shit crazy. But yeah, the spirituality thing, yeah, that's another. Yeah, that's yeah.
So I'm just saying on that level, like let's talk about that again. So let's say that okay, we talked about a couple of things that was just like keynotes. Okay, so let's talk about ancestors on a micro macro, as Flat says. So you talking about ancestors, you talking about calling out to deities. You talking
No, I didn't say nothing like that.
no, I didn't say that you did. I'm saying
Oh,
just when I say you, it's like it's the group. It's the collective when I say you. Okay. I'm looking at all things. So you talking
Hold on
about
one
as
second
far as
before
the
you go.
different go ahead.
Before like you say, called on
no,
deities.
what I was talking about is okay. Go ahead.
Okay, like when you say calling on deities, like in your mind, you thinking of some ritual Illuminati shit, but calling on deities could be, damn, I miss my dead uncle, or my uncle been on my mind, and your frequency is vibrating on that, and that's for a reason. That's the connection. That's when you get to seeing the certain numbers, and you know what I'm saying. All that shit play a part for a reason. Calling on deities ain't no spooky as some shit. It could be just as simple as, damn, man, I've been seeing my uncle's birthday, or I've been seeing my mother, I've been thinking about her, or you know what I'm saying. It's just where you get them feelings from.
And
Your
that's what he was
frequency.
responding to as far as the emotions on something. But I'm just saying as far as using the micro macro as Flat's reference. If we're using the micro macro as his reference and we're talking about the many things on that spectrum, then that's what I'm saying. Collectively, when I say you, I'm saying this is the things we're talking about because per
No, you
culture,
good, you good.
per culture, you have the many different beliefs. So that's why I'm saying you're talking about voodoo, you're talking about calling deities, you're calling ancestors, you're calling self, you're calling moments. So on that spectrum of things, when we're creeping back towards that macro, we're creeping towards that end. That's where the question then reflects. This whole conversation then reflects back to the thing that he asked me originally. That's what I was getting to.
Oh, go ahead,
Like I never.
Go ahead. What's the
So
question?
no, that was the original question when
Oh,
he
now
asked
you
as far
good.
as people getting orders or directions from higher up or as an individual collective self. That's what I was trying to bring the conversation full circle for you. Like, so to conclude that is my conclusion for that. You were talking about the many things that lie on the spectrum and you tap into it when you have that either emotional need, survival need, or you are getting a resonance letting you know that you need the need. That's the point. All of that
Now
is there on that
the
scope
point I was
though.
saying. Now the point I was saying is in between that macro and macro, that's recognizing both of them. And like you say, going toward the voodoo is going toward the macro, but in somebody else's perception, they might be thinking they're going toward the micro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, so is you can't put the label with which one stands on it. It's just it, like you said, it is what it is. It's just a choice that you make.
Right, that's what I'm
But
saying. All of
instead
these
of
things are
you,
here presented on the spectrum. How you
But
call it
choice
and
is
what
an
you
illusion.
utilize it for is you.
Yeah,
Back to what you said. That's the point.
but how that choice affects these individuals is that individual's choice, their perception. Because like you said,
It's
you think
perception,
that
but it's not a choice.
voodoo is going micro, but someone else may think it's going higher.
Right. So people think voodoo is evil when for other people it's something good. 100%. Because
No,
again,
it's
remember
a
the
self
energy just
perception.
is
But
exactly. The
It's
energy
just a
always
choice.
is. How you utilize it
That's your
is what
we
is
choice.
all
going to
give
manifest
we all
into.
yeah,
giving
yeah,
names
but listen, that's
to
perception.
emotion though.
But
It all boils down to one's person emotional attribute or handicap. You understand? Because like if you want to see them micro and you want to see them macro, it is his emotion. Like you get a Christian man and a Jewish man, and then you get an atheist man or atheist man, a 80s whatever Gary is, and you go and start telling this man about his voodoo or his spiritual sight, and this man about his spiritual sight. This one might get upset. This one might get upset, and this one not get upset. It's all because of an emotion on their spiritual side.
But
You
he's
understand?
also
that's
going to
true.
get
That's
upset
true.
because that's what I'm saying. He's also going to get upset because he still has a blocker. He still
Yeah.
has fear. He still has these things that keep him from those realms.
But they ain't gonna
Period.
see it as an
You're right, because
emotional.
perception is left or right. Like that don't matter. It's about who in the balance, who could take when a happy motherfucker take that emotion out, and a mad motherfucker take that out and see what this. Okay, let me get into this and see what this really is.
It's
Versus
really
off
about who can control the
it's a
energy and how
balance.
you utilize the energy, period. And who's controlling it, period. Because who's controlling it right now is controlling the masses.
Yeah, you take
And
the
that's the
energy
point.
out of it. You take your emotion out of it. It has no power. Period. It's just word. You understand? That's it.
It's funny, is
And
word
and
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 word
then
is
and then
blind.
on top of that, if you read the script or if you don't read the script is basically telling you all emotion is sin. The
Which
only
script?
emotion
Which script?
the King James version.
I'm saying, we
Latin
talking
version.
about Christianity, we talking about the Quran, we talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Kabbalah, we
all of
talking
that,
about
all of
Buddha,
that,
we talking about, that's
all
the
of
point I'm saying with
every.
everything being on that. So that's what goes back into the question that Indigenous said with, what are you doing? Like, that's the point. Like, you got breadcrumbs. Collectively, the answer is there, but we're not even going through the breadcrumbs. Half of us is not even making it out of one area, let alone taking the time to utilize and learn these tools from multiple
Now,
areas
now,
to get
now,
to
Vicky.
self.
Now, Vicky, remember we was talking about what Natty was saying, we all got the same type of power and shit. Like we
Yes.
got the same power. And where I was talking about, like, nah, we don't got the same power. It all depend on who got the strongest connection, or who got the strongest will, who will overcome the other motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no equal. If whoever who builds the strongest connection to the source of power to overcome the other. You know, that's what happens. It's not an equal thing, because some can't access a certain amount over others. You know what I'm saying? Versus others.
But they told you
The
that you
potential
can.
equal. The potential is infinite. But
But they tell you
the
that you
work that
can if you.
The
and the
potential is
craft.
infinite, but everybody don't reach the infinite potential though. That's the
But
thing.
that's the
It's
point. That's
levels.
what he said when the brother said earlier. That's what they tell you, that you can only get to that level by being a Mason or an Illuminati. That's the point he's saying. You can't even access that knowledge, but you can. You can access that knowledge because that knowledge itself is everything. That's your bill. Don't know how else to put that.
Y'all saying the same thing.
No, I know we what was saying, but that's dude, that's your bill.
You need to put your avatar back up, Vicky. What happened to your avatar?
I'm on my other account.
Oh.
So, and
Vicky need to make her motherfucking avatar a damn viper. God damn it, put that motherfucking thing. Motherfucker, spit that goddamn venom. God damn it.
There you go. There you go.
There was a motherfucker on here earlier saying that he don't give a damn. He don't believe that somebody can't do that to him. Shit. Why don't see that kind of crazy shit get done to a motherfucker?
You say what, Justin?
Somebody said earlier that nobody can't do nothing to them. No spell nothing go work on them if they don't believe in it.
No, Flat was saying that shit, man. I was saying, like, that's bullshit, man. Certain shit is out of your motherfucking control, irregardless of if you wishing it, you thinking it or not, man. And the example that we was talking about was Vicky was talking about the frequencies and shit. If you unaware of what's going on, man, you're gonna get affected of that shit. Whether or not you like it or not, it don't matter.
Everything is
It's already
manifestation.
there.
You manifest your
But it's
situation
what,
whether you know
right?
it or not. And
Nah,
then
you
somebody
don't.
was
You
saying
don't.
about
You don't
listen.
manifest your
You
situation, bro.
do. Yeah,
Sometimes,
everybody.
sometimes,
Yes, you
sometimes
do.
you just throw. Sometimes you just throw down in the middle of the desert and told to figure it out, bro. How the fuck you manifest that if you ain't aware of the conditions of anything?
But
You
that's the
don't.
point of what we
Really
That's
telling.
not
don't.
But that's the
true.
point of
Everything
what
is
we telling
manifestation.
you.
That can't be true though.
It
What if
can
you
But
don't
that's
have
what
no?
he's saying. Is
What
how
if you
you
don't
react.
have no? What if you don't have no? No, I'm not talking about the react. I'm not even that far yet. I'm talking about the whole instance of the situation even occurring. What if you ain't got no recollection of a thing ever even existence, but it just happens? You just throwing it like, damn, I didn't know this type of environment ever exists. This didn't never come to my imagination.
You don't come
And
to
then
Earth.
your
Remember,
actions
you
and
don't
your
come to
thoughts
Earth. Remember
reciprocate,
being
man.
born.
Let me in
You
about
don't.
the
What?
bill on post now. Give me
Go
a
for it.
specific situation. Go ahead. Give me let's build for a second.
What I'm saying is, like, okay, for instance, like, if you never knew, like, just out in public on the streets,
A realistic situation.
a realistic situation, if you never knew anything about jail, prison, a motherfucker come around and like, damn, you violate some type of law that we said
that you violated, we throwing you in our motherfucking little thing over here. You never even knew that was even a possible thing, but here it is. You gaffed up. You kidnapped all of a sudden. You didn't even know that was a possible thing. But now you gaffed up. You didn't even ever think about that. How did you manifest that and you ain't never had a thought of that shit?
Okay, I'm gonna give you. I got two comebacks for you. Like, okay, first I would say like, okay, as far as jail and your actions, like if you doing something, like if you hustling or whatever. I know what you said. I'm gonna get to that. But if you hustling and shit, you motherfucker gonna tell you, man, oh, well, you going to jail, or you gonna have some type of awareness of what the fuck you doing and your consequences of your actions. Your actions are going what you attracting and what you saying about if you random didn't know. Okay, that's if you single out. But if collectively, if the conscience, if the universe, if it's a 2-3 majority vote, know about what the fuck going on, then it's majority rules. Like then you can still attract that shit because that's universal law. Majority rules, 2/3. Like with the whole gay shit. Like now 2/3 think it's okay, so now it's legal. Versus back in the day, where 2/3 thought that shit was wrong and it was on the downside. So it's the majority. It's a majority rules and consciousness. So if it's a universal collective consciousness, know what the fuck going on. You could be you and another motherfucker not know. We in the loop. Your ignorance gonna be the cause of your fall. And far as the other shit, but your actions determine it. The shit you doing, your thoughts, man, like them drug dealers and them niggas shoot like, oh man, if I keep doing this, I'm gonna go to jail. Like science, universe give you science, and you attract
Also, I want to point out.
energy.
I also want to point out you could. Wait. I also want to point out that it could be something stupid and simple too, like you was on the toilet taking the shit and you just got done watching Take and you was like, man, it'd be fucked up if I get kidnapped. Boom. That quick. Don't think about that.
They don't work like that.
Says who? Says who?
Listen. When you manifesting, like you can think about the shit all you want. Is when your emotions and when your senses is involved in that shit when you truly manifest. That's why when motherfuckers angry, it mad, like motherfuckers once you angry and mad, like that shit, that vibration is so strong when it hit your emotions.
Every thought you have goes in the fishbowl.
Yes, every thought. And
so who's to say it can't? Every thought you have goes in the fishbowl. It don't mean everything in the fishbowl gonna get used, but it's in the fishbowl. So if you want to toilet taking the shit and you just got done what you're taking,
the fishbowl is infinite, and every scenario they had to play out is already played out. Everything has happened already, and we go through this. That's why I say choice is really an illusion, but we choose our path. We got free will to, so to speak, but it's an illusion because everything has happened. Because if the universe is infinite, then for the universe to carry that law, every situation that's happened. That's why we got these different realms and these different dream states and these deja vu feelings. So
right, like, so that's the point. It might not happen on your plane, but it's happening.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But I totally agree. But I also said that before when it came to Star because I was like, sometimes shit collides. Sometimes shit changes places. Things like that can also occur. So that's what I'm saying about your random by being at the gas station and you just got kidnapped. That's the point.
Okay, I'm gonna give you another scenario. Okay, boom. Say like I'm in this gang in that gas station you have with all my opposite and my vibration and my mindset. I put it on me. I do not go to that gas station because it's a death trap to me. For whatever reason, I put that out. The universe hit it. So long as I don't go to that gas station, it's gonna be cool. But I'm attracting that. Okay, I'm playing it safe, but it's a polar opposite. The opposite of that is me getting killed or whatever happened at that gas station. I'm attracting that in its polar opposite. So as soon as I go to that gas station, since that frequency and vibration, my belief was so strong in not going to this gas station because it's a death trap. When I go
is
there,
it that? But that's what I'm saying. Is it that, or is it that the gas station or whatever reason is giving you some type of warning?
Hold up. Let me say this because I can give.
It's my input into the gas station.
I can give another example, another real life example. For instance, your birth. You ain't got no control of who your motherfucking parents are. You ain't got no control of if your motherfucking mama or daddy throw you in a goddamn dumpster once you come out of your motherfucking mama. Where's the,
you ain't got no control that you ain't gonna end up in a napkin.
Hold up. That too. But what I'm saying is,
you do pick your
where is the point? Where is the point? Nah, bro, because what is the point of the consciousness entering the body to basically to have these damn thoughts of these things, man?
Well,
when does that even happen? What point in time did this happen until we get told what a certain concept of a certain word is when I feel like that's when the thought, not necessarily not the thought, but that's when the correlation of things become a thing.
So you saying you as a seed didn't choose to be here because you chose to be here.
I
And
don't
you chose
know
your parents.
how.
You
You
exactly.
speaking on the
How?
memory, bro. You
How?
speaking on the memory of when you can
How
remember the thought.
how can you okay, instead of just saying it, how is that an actual thing? How is that actual?
Conscious and subconscious, bro. Because your subconscious
You
is
just
thinking like
that's love talk to me because I don't even believe in those subconscious. I just think it's conscious. It ain't no
see,
sub. It's all
bro, it's
consciousness.
a duality. Everything got a polar opposite, bro. So if it's
It
conscious, it
ain't
gotta
no
have an opposite.
sub. It
It
ain't no
is, bro.
sub. No, it's not. It's just consciousness. It's all inclusive. There's
And
no
all
separation.
inclusive means that everything was on the planet at the same time.
No, it's what's
I
up,
don't know
conscious,
about
bro?
that either.
Listen,
Who to
But
say? Who
that
to say?
give you an
Who to
Bo
say?
says here to
Who
say
to
that,
say?
and I
Hold
told
on.
you that.
Who to
Like,
say? Who to say that this shit didn't start as soon as we came into this motherfucker? Who to say that? Does any one of us on the panel right now know what happened prior to when we came into this motherfucking existence, or what's gonna happen after we leave this shit?
that's for you to
Anybody?
find out before and
Any
after, bro.
takers?
That's not
No,
your
that's
business
not.
here.
That's fluff. That's
Check
fluff
this
talk.
out.
Once again, you ain't answering the goddamn question. So if you
Let
don't
me
know,
use some
just say
more
you don't.
love talk.
Just say you don't know.
It ain't about
You
because I
obviously
ain't
don't
giving you
know
the answer
according to
you
your
want.
answer. Your answer is deep by default. You don't fucking know.
I'm
That
gonna
ain't
just go
mine.
back
That's
to
how
say
you
that's just
perceiving
past
it.
the
By
event
default,
horizon.
nigga,
At
from
the
what
end of
you
the
said,
day,
from your
you
response,
can
you don't fucking
recall
know.
every memory you have out here on the planet. You can recall being born. You recall all of this shit, but you cannot recall those two events because they're beyond the horizon. That's the
All
point.
right, that sounds nice, Biggie.
Bro, your conscious
That
mind is
that
when you
sound
walk
real
in
nice.
everything conscious. Your subconscious is your dream
That
state, and your
that
conscious is
sound
resting.
real well. That sound real well put together.
Okay, let me put it together
Sound like
some
you
more
trying to
love for you. Calm.
sound like you
Give me a
trying to
second.
sell me.
I ain't trying to sell you nothing.
Sound like you trying to sell me oranges, but they just crayons with the label orange on them.
No, but that's
Well, let
just the
me
point
piss on
when we
your head
talked
and
about
call
that.
it
We
rain
talked
real quick.
about that. We talked
Check it
about
out.
the gateways. We talked
You
about
want an
those
example
things.
of subconscious? When that baby come out the womb, it ain't gotta look at it. Ain't motherfucker ain't gotta tell them to go get that nipple. That's something is no. That's
Man,
subconscious.
that's conscious, bro.
The way a
That ain't
baby
sub.
sleep, that's
That's conscious. That's
subconscious.
consciousness, bro.
That shit
That's
lost.
consciousness.
That shit is
That's
low.
subconscious. The
That's
way a baby, when
consciousness,
you can
bro.
throw a baby in the water
That's
and the
consciousness,
baby
bro.
come out knowing how to hold his breath and swim.
That's
That's
consciousness, bro.
subconscious.
No, it's not.
That's sub.
That's consciousness, bro.
When you go to sleep and
That's
dream when your conscious
consciousness,
is
bro.
sleep and resting,
That's
your subconscious,
consciousness.
that's
That's
subconscious.
consciousness, bro.
It's
There's
subconscious.
no separate rest. Consciousness, bro.
But when you get
Why do
knocked
you
out, what
think
they
when
call
you
it?
sleep
Listen,
and
hold
you
on,
in
I
a
got
subconscious
when you
level
get
and
knocked
not on
out,
a
what they
spiritual
call it?
realm though?
Listen,
There is
listen, let me
no
get into it.
sub because the sub
Well,
is
listen,
like a side
when
or
you
something
get
that's
knocked out
below
in a fight,
or
what they
above.
call it?
You say what?
When you get knocked out in a fight, what they call it? You unconscious, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means you blacked out. You unconscious. So that means look.
And
So that
sub ain't the
means
same.
listen, just let me listen. So that means when you conscious, that means you're aware of what's going on when you're around.
That's right.
Now,
If you get your ass knocked out in a fight, you just got knocked the fuck out your body.
But you unconscious when you get knocked out when you sleep. Listen.
But you got you're not you're out your body. You out the flesh. You out the suit.
You ain't not like you unconscious. Now, boom. Now, when you in that state, that same when you sleep, when your conscious is tired, when you're telling you go to sleep, when you in a dream state, that's your subconscious mind.
It's not a sub, bro. It's still the same. It's still consciousness, man.
The brain, you believe the brain got two parts, right?
It's still consciousness, man.
Okay. Question. Okay, so let's talk about sleep. What's the 3 phases to sleep?
Tell me.
You have 3 phases to sleep.
I told Leon he was in charge. I was trying to hurry to get back. I don't know where the hell
So
your
the
ass was
point
at.
I'm making, the point I'm just making is when it comes to sleep and things of that nature, how was it, as he says, how was it considered a sub and you're not out into the spiritual realm of light body?
Your subconscious is like because this physical, this is property of this realm. You don't take that with you. Your subconscious, when you dream, when you wake up in a dream, you still got your dream body. That's going on, like you said, in them infinite possibilities where you said there's somewhere going on somewhere. It's like a movie. Okay, this nigga sleep ain't no shit. Let me go to one of these other realms, and then for whatever reason you dream or whatever you manifest, for whatever reason you got to get out that shit. You get out of it.
But you have 3 realms to your sleep. So if you want to consider a subconsciousness, then your subconsciousness would only be when you're in the 2nd realm.
Subconscious is spiritual and conscious is physical.
When you get to the 3rd realm of sleep, you are not there in your 3rd realm of sleep. And back to the 3s plane. You're not there. Ain't no way in hell you sleep dead or otherwise, and you were in the sub.
You can be
Sub
conscious and
as the
not be
sub
conscious
is
too. So what you
the
not
sub
conscious
is
is you.
under.
Listen to me. So you say, okay, that's three phases. It's a phase of consciousness when you dizziness, concussed, or do the physical what's the name where you can't be totally conscious or what? Is you not conscious even though you conscious?
You got alpha waves, theta, and
What you
delta
on?
waves.
Go ahead.
On that third level of sleep, you are no longer in what you consider your subconscious because you are not attached to your suit.
Your
a hundred
subconscious is not
percent.
attached to your suit neither. You just hit, you turned it on
Your
until it died
your
yourself.
sub that you refer to is your gateway. That's the door. That's what you refer to as the sub. That's your door. When you pass that door, you were then on that realm. So, and just I'm just saying, perspective for me, when I look at it in reflection, I can see what he's meaning about the sub because it don't really exist because you're just getting your body. You know what I'm saying? You're just taking your mind and breaking it down to walk your ass back to which you came back in through. You going back out, but temporarily. So is it you, or are you again going to on that path back to your light body? So it doesn't necessarily have to be a sub. The sub is like part to me and him and others, the deception to say that in reference of, because it's saying also less than or under when it's just consciousness. That's what he's trying to say.
And
That's exactly what I'm saying.
now I get that, and I did that. And what I was trying to say, like, instead of separating them, all that shit is just one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to see how to say this shit.
You just said it. You just said it, bro.
It's
You
one,
just said
but
it. You just
it's
said it.
one. Like, you know what I'm saying? But did not say you got a subconscious and like that shit don't exist. It ain't real. It's not
Look, man,
the whole truth.
you can try to compartmentalize it or categorize it however you want, bro. It's all, like I said, it's all congruent, bro. There is no sub. It's just, if you want to say that,
That's like saying it ain't no male, female. We in a duality state.
Bruh, that shit.
But
When
that's
you
what
talk
I'm
about
saying.
genetics,
You
though,
talking
bro.
about duality
Look,
and sub. You saying under less than.
No,
yeah,
I'm not. I'm
man.
saying I'm saying on the universal as the sun and moon. Everything here. We when we want, we two. When we do God like shit, man and woman, is when we combine to bring a baby. I'm not speaking on. I ain't. I'm not. Everything is everything. It is what it is. This is the duality state. You have to have a polar opposite to work, positive and negative. Once we leave and we out this motherfucker, it might be some different laws, but I'm saying the laws in this motherfucker and how
So
everything break down here.
how would the sub go into duality because your sub
Conscious,
can't?
subconscious, pineal gland, polarized, your polar north star, your left and right, your sun and moon, your divine three, your two gonna break down to three. Like it's with the numbers. Like
If you talking about positive and negative, then which one are you saying is positive and negative? That's what we're saying. So you're saying the sub is negative and the consciousness in itself is positive. That can't be.
Like I said, when anytime you say sub, man, I'm going off of like a substitute teacher. Like you inserting another consciousness or something, man. Where it ain't another. It's already like I said. It's all consolidated. It's all the one thing. Like what you already said. It was one. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a it's a system of it's a collection one, but it's a system, but it's one. It's all, like, you know what I'm saying? The working parts, but it's all one type shit. this whole consciousness thing, like like what's the best? Because I would ask, what would be the best way to describe consciousness? Is it just that? Is it just awareness? Because I also look at consciousnesses because I've had experience where I've separated, but like in real time, I've separated myself from my physical body to where like I used to I was a parachute rigger, you know, I was in the military and shit. We used to jump out of airplanes, and there was a time where I jumped out of airplane. There was so much shock that hit me. My inner self literally was jolted out of my physical self, and I found myself trying to pull myself back into my physical body. So to me, when it comes to consciousness, it's also an energy realm that fills up this physical body. To me, it has to be some type of energy that's filling up this electrical thing that's that what I think is electrical, or as far as our veins or all these passageways, the current, like they talk about currency. Current has to do with electricity, so it makes sense. So it's something, but it's like to me the what you want to call it, the soul, whatever's filling up this body is like it's like the circuit, it's like the charge, it's the charge or the spark itself that's giving consciousness to the physical realm. You know what I'm saying? That's
So
go ahead.
let's talk about spirituality, because every time we talk about it, we always stray off of it. So I'm gonna ask you a question just to go back on what the brother said. So when we're talking about things like invoking, okay, let's talk about
Now
spirituality in the
hold on, Vicky.
comments.
Hold on, Vicky. Can you brush over the invoke and evoke? Because I mean, I'm not really familiar with the terms that I mean, I have an understanding of invoke, like you just you're inputting something, you want something. I don't really know the difference of the two, though. What you say?
One is calling forth or for. One is internalized, a part of. That's what the invoking evoking is. That's the best separation
So
I can give.
which is which? Which is which? Which one is which is which?
So I'm saying you
So
inside you, part of
in
you
is
is
inside.
E.
Okay, so in and E is
Okay,
outside of you.
so on that, I'm just saying. So let's just talk about something common, okay? So just we can kind of stick to target. So on something common, when you're talking about, and I'm just saying common in the sense generally as to what you know true through common society knowledge, okay? I'm just saying when people say things like entertainers, okay? Because like when I was being groomed for music, and you're told, well, when you do this part or when you sing this song, you have to channel this person. You ever heard that? Being told you have to channel that energy or
Yeah,
that person.
yeah, it's like a chant, or like a celebration of something and trying to raise spirits or some shit like that. Yeah.
But channeling is invoking as well. That's not calling on necessarily, but that's how you're told. You're told to channel is to call on, though, but you can channel and call in. So that's what I was just speaking on. Like you are literally taking in that person's spirit persona energy versus for, which can be a mimic or echo of.
Now, would you say what you're saying is basically similar to being possessed through whichever you calling into you, whatever spirit
That's
you're
I
calling in?
wouldn't
Is that
say
what you?
that. I mean,
I
there's
don't mean. I
a
don't mean. I don't mean. I
mundane
don't mean.
way
I
to
don't mean. I
put
don't mean.
it.
I don't mean possessed as in a negative connotation. I don't mean it like. I'm just saying like to where something is overcoming you from what you're calling into you. I'm not trying to put no negative like
Well, like
negative
they were
grubbing on this shit. I'm
necessarily,
just
but
saying
yeah.
because
Anybody
that's
else on
what
the
to me.
panel
I mean,
was
it seems
saying?
like that would be the best thing. This way. Go ahead though.
I was just asking anybody else on the panel had thoughts about what I said.
Yeah, yeah, it was that. Why coming? Give me a minute.
Okay, so that's like to say hello.
I think
Okay.
these niggas going to sleep. These are niggas bedtime and
No,
shit.
I ain't go to sleep this time, but you're talking about channeling and stations and shit and frequencies, right?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. I'm trying to get there. Like I'm really trying to get on the how that impacts with the frequencies and the music. That's what I'm saying. Like, thank you. Like I need some more stimulation as far as the conversation. Just chime in, shit. Like that shit's 100.
We all got our own favorite shows. Some people be tuning into the wrong shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But it's also like, okay.
That's why they bring their Googles out, like when they have like the reach of the African thing, they bring their Googles out, they be beating the drums. The drums will get them going and everything, like I say about the frequencies and everything that control. It's a lot of stuff to it on controlling energy, controlling invoking spirits and that kind of thing.
Yes. And also what people refer to as angels and saints. Because that's the thing thank you. And that's what I'm saying. Like when you drawing that down and you drawing it in you or around you.
Or energy, man. Or energy.
It's the intent.
Over time, these patterns create these frequencies. You know what I mean? Or they, over time, it'd be like these patterns that you might do. Like if every morning you wake up and do the same routine every day, that's frequency. That's a type frequency and shit. And so when you change that shit up, it's like changing the channel and shit, changing the station. I just freestyle that shit. I don't know what the fuck. You know what I mean?
That's what's up.
Yeah, I'm just using the definitions accordingly. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? That shit is like that. Because frequencies is the rate, what is that shit? The frequency you go to the store every day. That shit can go up and down. I guess you would be the station and your focus would be what you channeling. Like when you channel something, you just focus on something. You know what I mean? And so you get a stronger sense of what that vibration is when you like. I guess when a channel works, let's say if somebody be like, I'm trying to channel the ancestor or a ancestor, a random one. You know what I'm saying?
Right, not specific.
But you can hear, see the ring in your ear. The ring you hear outside when ain't a noise going on, the frequency.
You talking about that ring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know what the fuck that is.
That's the frequency. That's the natural frequency everybody on this motherfucker agreed to be on. How we having this conversation? Everybody outside. That's the universal frequency for this ring.
So you saying
it's little numbers in between.
But you have times it intensifies, and those I spoke on that before when the ringing intensifies, or you hear it randomly, and depending on which ear, depends on that. Those are the things that people aren't. Those are the in between things that people are not paying attention to. Like he just said, you hear that at night, every night.
I'm having that happening off and on. And another thing, I don't know if y'all want to put into consideration the fact that when they took everything as far as electronic devices from analog to digital, like across the plane, that's messing with everybody's individual frequencies on a daily basis without everybody really thinking about that or considering.
Hey, K4R, you on point because we were talking about the difference with the radio shit, radio frequencies and shit. Go ahead though.
Yep.
How they no longer use the AM, they always use the FM, but why don't use the AM no more? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead though.
They still use the damn AM.
It's not really popular. I'm just saying. Go ahead though.
No, I'm saying that AM is more so on the government frequency too. That's why you're being pushed from analog to digital and through generations as well. That's also why. You got to remember this shit is on the spectrum. It's on a bandwidth. Okay, you have millihertz and megahertz. You got to pay attention to this shit. They telling you this shit, and you're not paying attention to it. The general populace is fucking not.
Is there a band length?
You said what?
Is there a band length? Because we know there's a bandwidth. It got to be a link to the motherfucker.
There's got to be a link to it.
Absolutely, bro.
Right now on Google.
Because that's just the rule. That's just a dimensional rule. You know what I'm saying? You got length, width, and height. And it probably has the band height, I'm sure, too.
But as far as what actually impacts our resonance.
What I was going to say, even with dimensions, I think there's infinite dimensions. But because I think every dimension splits into is another dimension in itself. Go ahead, though. My bad. Go ahead.
No, you're right.
I said dimensions because that's when you measure the dimensions of something, you are measuring the width, the length, the circumference, the radius. Come on now, maybe not the radius, But you know what I'm saying? Those are also called dimensions. You know what I'm saying? So
But I would think that the bandwidth is the channel or station, and the length is the amount of impact on you. That's what I would think that measures out to. Me personally.
Because there's no real definition for band length at all.
But it's your scope. It's your scope. It's how your scope is affected. That's what I'm saying. You can't measure. Exactly. How can you measure dimensions that are affected not only when they are infinite, but they are being manipulated? That's the length, the impact. So I'm just saying, we've been operating on megahertz frequencies for a very long time. Okay, this is why the 5G shit is important, because they are moving to milli. That's a whole different fucking frequency.
That's a fast.
Is that tying into the 5G?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. As far as when we're talking about the frequencies and just general, yeah, like you have been operating your whole existence as well as the rest of the planet on a megahertz frequency. Okay, so you basically, like we're saying, you've been pushed from analog to digital for a reason.
Megahertz.
That milli frequency has so much more access, not only for information transference, but in stored data.
Now, Vicky, remember what I was talking about with the disruption of the wave, like with the water and shit. And it's similar. It's similar to them being able to disrupt our calm water, our flow, our frequency, or whatever, through disruptive waves and shit. To where basically it can create a jammer, like how a jammer is to electronics. Like you can jam up the frequencies of a certain technology communicating amongst each other, to where they can jam us up through our frequency, but through a disruption of waves and shit. You know what I mean? Go ahead, go.
Waves.
How do you think they know how to do all of this shit? They had to do it to you first.
Yeah, they practicing on the slaves.
Exactly, the fucking guinea pigs. How do you think they know how to do all this shit? How you think they know what it's gonna do? They can't calculate the incalculable outcome. That's the point. You can get a figure. Right. You can get a hypothesis as to what that could possibly be, but you're not going to get that. So when we're talking about this on the milli, now we're talking about accessing a higher frequency.
So what if
hold on, K4, hey, hold on, hey, Red, K4, I was trying to say something right quick though. I want to hear what you got to say too though, Red. What K4, what you trying to say?
Good.
Yeah. No, what I was gonna say, a lot of times it be like, truth hidden in plain sight, and a lot of times with some of these movies, they drop some real juice. So just so happened yesterday, I was channel surfing and this FBI show was on, right? And the whole basis of it was this naval third party country had came out with these new high tech sonar sound for the Navy, what I'm saying, as far as, what I'm saying, the ocean and stuff like that. So what I'm getting at, the people ended up going to jail because they were caught because the thing was projecting so much energy that it was costing more to put a median in the machine to calm it down or whatever. So it was projecting way over the amount of the sonar volume within the sea light, and it started killing a lot of the sea light, right? So then they brought the lady, and the lady came clean saying, we thought it would have did it on a small scale, but we didn't know how, how powerful it was. But it ties into us knowing that surrounded by free energy, we are energy, and everything as far as energy, in order for it to use it, it needs to be kind of muffled and compressed in a certain type of way. But what I want to tie that in to what I came across last night in real life, I don't know if y'all remember about 5 years ago, like this certain whales, dolphins, and things like geese and stuff was just coming up dead on seashores and stuff.
Yeah, the die-offs.
Yeah. So so we're saying about these frequencies, they really doing this stuff. Like you said, we humans test studies, the animals is test studies, like they've been doing. So it's a lot of truth. It's a lot of truth to that. You know.
Now let me reflect on that.
Yeah,
Let me reflect on that.
Hey, Vicky, Square was gonna want input too, though.
Go
Vicky,
ahead. Go ahead.
Square was gonna say something too.
all I was gonna say was maybe Lil Wayne's a Millie was talking about this frequency shit we're talking
about. Oh wow, you gonna throw that in there?
A Millie.
Pretty much.
Yeah, this shit. But hey, you might be right though, low key, like some covert ass shit. But yeah, go ahead.
But okay, back to tie it in to what we were saying as far as the mega and the millies. Like you just said, what was the sonar based off of? Dolphins. That's the megahertz. The millihertz is they don't know how it's going to affect the environment once they start tweaking shit and emulating it. That's the point we saying. Real talk. They can see how it's going to work, but they can't measure how it's going to impact. They can get to results and do what they need to do with it, but they can't actually get the incalculable equation done. That's not gonna fucking happen. So awesome. Go ahead.
Vicky, are you saying that they was the sonar shit that was killing dolphins and whales was them testing 5G type shit? Possible.
No. Them killing the creatures was them using like we're saying. The only way they could have developed this was by emulation. They used something natural and turned it into a weapon. Because they can see how it works, but they don't know how. So when that dolphin makes that noise on that megahertz frequency, it don't kill anything, but we don't know as to what it does to the other creatures, to which is not a dolphin.
Now, Vicky, ain't that where they got the submarine technology from? Is from the dolphin, right? Ain't that where the submarine?
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's how the sonar was developed. So, but we're talking about this on a megahertz, millihertz frequency. I'm just trying to make that more descriptive when it ties into the 5G. Now, to go back to what he said about shit in plain sight, I fucking watched Rampage. Rampage in the movie, the villains was trying to get the monsters to come back. And she said, well, I'm going to go out here and open up our super motherfucking satellite piece of technology I had developed. What it does is it controls the minds of pretty much whatever the fuck I wanted to, but with an insatiable urge for it to stop the ringing or the noise. And when she said that, she went outside and she tapped the fucking bottom of a pole and a panel popped out. She popped in the code, and then you look up at the top of this pole, it turns into a 5G tower.
Wow.
That's crazy because I see that now.
That's the bullshit.
Man, this is some social engineering and social psychological programming like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like a motherfucker.
Yeah, that's deep.
So when is 5G? Ain't the 5G already working or no?
5G is in beta mode. Just because they are offering it and the towers are up and active, that's not the whole network. You're talking about a piece here and a piece there. Imagine when the whole fucking thing is up. People who have worked on the 5G towers have had to go up and do the installation of radiation suits. At the bottom of the 5G tower, you have radiation warnings. So why the fuck are these things in the middle of neighborhoods and next to schools?
And I heard they got hella bugs and shit that be dead around that.
Hey, now let me hit
these birds and all types of shit dying around them damn
let me hit y'all with this. What if it's some shit like how? Because I can relate that to the Naruto shit with the motherfucking moon, where everybody looks at the moon because this motherfucker put his skull on the moon. Everybody come under hypnosis. The same thing with some frequency shit, to where these motherfuckers tap into a certain frequency and everybody just go into this damn trance. You know, they don't even know what the fuck hit they ass, but they can't.
But that's what we saying about the milli. They've been doing this shit for ages, just on the megahertz. They ain't even did it on the milli level yet, to a mass level. So that's the point we saying. The milli level is a fucking higher frequency and an entirely different set of frequencies that they do not know what it does yet or know how to utilize it yet. Now, here where it gets interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know a good example of a millihertz frequency actually being working? So at the time that we had a particular asteroid traveling over the fucking planet, also did the pyramids ring on the same frequency, a frequency that they didn't know existed until it happened. And this goes into the shit I was telling y'all about. You think that you can't fucking levitate something through a resonance or frequency? You're crazy.
Yeah, that definitely is possible.
Now let me say this. Let me add to that. What if that also that frequency? Because I think our eyes also work off of frequency too. Where the frequency starts to distort what we fucking looking at too. So like almost like we like with our eyes, it's like we tune into a damn channel. Or what if that fucking frequency causes us to start fucking hallucinating, and start to see shit like, you know what I'm saying? The shit that's not even really there, but we freaked out because of the certain frequency disrupting our eye frequency and shit.
What if
You know what I'm saying?
Star? What if them frequencies let us see things in other? I mean, technically, ain't spirits in different frequencies?
Right, in different dimensions. So the dimension is a reflection to a frequency.
No, I feel that.
Which is a reflection to a number.
And back with
so you got to think about the fact that if we talking about this again on a spectrum, or like you said, if you got one of these 1970 ass stereos in your house, you got all of these fucking channels. How you supposed to know which one does what?
Yeah.
Until you test some shit.
Yeah. And the moon,
that's heavy, yo.
Supposed to bring out the inner beast or some dumb shit.
You talking about the full moon shit?
The police got extra work to do on full moons. Like, it's a full moon tonight.
I hear about the full moon all the time. When people start going crazy because of the full moon, but certain frequencies or something that's causing that shit. I don't really know the whole scoop, but yeah.
Here's another one. Do you know when the highest amount of births is?
When?
When there's eclipses at night.
What?
Oh, wow.
I bet you I never looked that shit up, huh? Did you know that? Because think about this. Okay, if the moon affects your tide, if the moon affects the tides, right? If you're taught the moon affects the tide, and then you're turned around and equally taught you're fucking 75% of water, why would the moon not affect you?
Right. Damn.
So if some shit's going on, like an eclipse or some shit like that, it's gonna do shit to your body.
So isn't that more proof that the moon is an artificial satellite? Because that's doing some shit.
That motherfucker, a whole person. I can't even. I'm not even about to go into my feelings about that.
I done seen faces. I done seen faces on the moon and shit. Where the motherfucker making a certain expression and shit. I don't know, bro. I don't know what that thing is. I have no fucking idea.
I think that bitch is the reference to the Death Star. Like, they put that bitch together slow. And then
either your moon is in reference of, again, as he was saying, with everything having a duality. Okay, but your moon is fucking artificial, or it's self-illuminating as well, which means, what do you consider it then? Do you consider it an entity? Is the sun and moon alive?
I think the sun is an entity and the moon is a goddamn artifact, some type of artificial type shit. Like a built thing. You know what I mean? Whereas there's still polar opposite though. You got a lot of polar opposites when it comes to like describing the sun and moon.
But right, you have light in the day and light at night. You have light all day.
But it's like a reverse light with the moon. It's a cold light and they draw in spirit, and the sun emits a warm light.
Is it artificial or is it a shadow?
Oh. That's heavy. That's heavy. You see that there was an old saying found in Greece and Rome and shit, where it was like time before the moon was in the sky.
Right.
So there's actual history of the moon not being there.
Yep.
So I think that shit was built, and I think that a lot of the mountains and the trees that were giant, they potentially cut them trees down to build that motherfucker.
I don't know. If the moon artificial, then Michael Jackson lives on that motherfucker. I promise you.
That's the creepy motherfucker. You don't live. I made sure to cut his head off.
He did everything. Shit, like
motherfucker is burning right now. He's doing 1,000 feet right now on some too hot shit. Yeah, he a creepy motherfucker.
He said Michael Jackson creepy.
Like the moon, like there's a lot of interesting thing about the moon. I've said it before. I'll say it again. You know, the moon god in Arab is Sin, and then the Chinese are the Sino, and so there's a relationship between the moon god and Chinese people, and then you've got Chinese people that got certain claims to origins in that motherfucker for real, and their little ancient techniques.
I have heard of that, and it's also, you know, I don't even know. I don't even like using it as reference, but if there was to be a scientific reference for that, or a thing in plain sight for that, then you can find that scientifically that there is also proof of that, quote unquote. Because it's to say, if we're talking about random chance in the creation of the planet, those two things. Okay, so if we supposed to believe the planet formed and did whatever the way that they're telling us to, then that would only make sense that the moon may not have always been there or is leftover debris, because that's what they teach you.
Yeah, that's what they teach.
Well, my thing is, if it was leftover debris, wouldn't we see other particles coming from the moon also that's hanging like just like leftover drifting also around the motherfucker? I don't know.
Yes,
that, you know.
Yes, we would.
That would just be the only thing that makes sense. Because if it's like glass, there would be multiple pieces with the moon, not just the moon singularly. You know.
Right. And so I've heard a story that at one time shined so bright that people on the surface of the earth shot at it.
I heard about that where it said it was hollow, where it made it like a bell noise or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's another indication that is an artificial body. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, I mean, look, you got moon-eyed people. You got hella UFO activity around the moon. And
if the moon is artificial, these dumb motherfuckers didn't make it.
Nah, I think some Chinese crickets made that motherfucker, because you got moon crickets.
Hey, Red. Remember, I don't know if you was here when I told y'all about that damn story with the snakes and the ants and shit, bro. And you hinted on to something earlier about the certain different entities that exist and shit, as far as them eating us and shit, bro. I agree with that shit, bro. To where like everything, how I look at it, everything got like a fucking predator, bro. And I feel like our predator, they keep that motherfucker under wraps. And I feel like that's where a lot of the orders from these motherfucking political parties, where they passing all these rules and laws and shit, that's where that shit coming from, man. It's some type of super like a dragon or some shit, bro. Like an actual dragon that's removed from everybody else, so it don't seem like that shit's what's going on. Well, motherfuckers coming up missing and shit, they be kidnapping motherfuckers, they be using them motherfuckers as sacrifices to that motherfucking, to that damn dragon, to eat that shit as a sacrifice to give them what they want or what they, you know, whatever they wish. Kind of like some Dragon Ball shit.
Well, the moon
got wish on the dragon. Go ahead, though. My bad.
Word, I got you. And I want to just step in because the moon, like references to the moon is always the moon goddess. That shit is always negative. And it's like, you know, when you think about the dung beetle, and we talking about the type of entities that existed if they was like insectoid. Like, think about it. To comprehend our insectoid ancestors, like them motherfuckers' thought processes would be just like a computer. They'll be smart as shit, and they would know definitely how to make mounds, tunnels, and to comprise shit. And when we look at the dung beetle, that shit ball up a perfect type ball. And it's like,
it's quick. Let me ask something. Let me insert something right quick. Let me answer right something. Like now, wouldn't like when you're talking about the insectoid like mentality, wouldn't you say like the insects are like robotics, bro?
Yeah,
similar to like a robotic, like a motherfucker. Bro, go ahead, dog. Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Definitely, they don't have no space for bullshit. What they do, like ants, you know, ants and bees, they are highly intelligent and they do things with precision. And guess who on this earth is known to do that? Chinese people. And guess who got, when you look at Southeast Asia and shit on China, they all claim to come from insects, man. Like they had ancestors that was golden beetles and silver beetles, and you know, you got these stories of the ant people. You know what I mean? And so
I think that brings up an interesting topic and also the opportunity for racism. So
hell yeah, let's get it.
So with that being said, yeah. So then, which derivative did each of the major three species come from? So if Chinese people are insects, we cancel that out. What's up with the other two? Go.
Yeah, I can't just say that the Chinese was the only insects, because all the cave paintings suggest that the insectoid or ant people or mantid peoples, that was in Africa, man. Straight like that. As a matter of fact, you still got people in Africa talk with clicking noises.
Hey, let me say this. I'm of the belief that we are not the same. We are not like everybody says like we all the same. I don't believe that shit not for one fucking second, man. There's too many cultural and thought type of differences when it comes to certain shit on how we act and how we respond. And when you see certain people do different shit, they just do different shit. We do different shit depending on what people we are. You know what I'm saying? Like we all the same. That's bullshit. I feel like nigga, there's a certain branch like I'll talk about this with the homie a lot of times where I'll say that there were certain conditions that was met in a certain time in history to where certain conditions was met where people started just started to grow. I think most of life is aquatic to where people started coming up out of the water eventually. It's similar to birth. Like you and your mom, you know what I'm saying? Her water break. You in water. You know
That
what I'm saying?
aquatic shit is
Like,
heavy, but
go ahead.
that aquatic shit is heavy, and like you have ideas like the Dogon, and see the thing is, and it's kind of going to touch back on Chinese people, is that our ancestors, we really did fuck around and make a lot of shit and mix shit together, and we made new body types and this and that. That's why when you see these pictures of the merman and the birdman and the minotaur and the centaur and the pan, they're all white people, because we use them as the canvas to practice the arts of creating shit.
Hey, Squid.
Yeah.
Are you Asian?
Am I Asian?
Mm-hmm.
I'm part Asian. I'm black, white, and Chinese.
Oh, at least you know which part you are.
Man, I used to call myself Native American technically, but then I learned that Native Americans really is mixed with Mongolians and Africans, and I'm light skinned, so there's some white people in there somewhere.
You ain't got no tattoos, do you?
No tattoos.
Okay, I was just making sure you went out here looking like a Chipotle bag. But real talk,
I'm not be stuck in this dimension.
But your memory recall is what's telling you these things are true.
Yeah, most of it is partially that. Yeah, I feel it in my heart. You know what I'm saying?
I'm wondering, like when we hear these stories, like when you just give an example of these different type of entities that existed, because I was even thinking about the like Cupid, where the Cupid is like a half baby and half goat or some shit, or am I speaking about the wrong shit? I know there's another mythological creature that's half human and half goat with goat legs and shit, but the upper body is fucking
centaur. It's a centaur. You talk about mythology and Ptolemy.
Ain't the centaur the horse though? That had the man and the horse though, where the lower body is the horse. I thought that was the centaur.
That is.
But there's another one for the goat, the goat leg, 2 goat legs, and the upper body is human.
That's a Pam.
That's a Pam. That's called
Pam.
a Pam. Okay. And only I'll talk about that because it reminds me of you remember the fairy tale with the motherfucker that played the flute. You know what I'm saying? The manipulating motherfuckers. What's his damn name?
R. Kelly.
Nah, the flute. It's like a fairy tale. Nah, I think it said R. Kelly. What is it? It's not Rumpelstiltskin. It's the motherfucker with the flute that basically bribed all the children and shit with the motherfucking melody. That's Pam.
R. Kelly.
Okay,
R. Kelly.
It's a mythological name for it, though.
It's called the Pied Piper. R. Kelly calls himself the Pied Piper. R. Kelly.
Okay.
Yeah, they were in the woods and they were like use their flutes and shit to get females to walk in the woods and play with their flutes.
Now look. This what I was getting at. Like, where are these? What's the source of these damn creatures and shit? Like, are these things spawning up through imagination, or are these actual things that was been witnessed to being there?
Everybody, they test babies. Like test this out. Like if you look at the ancient Sumerian situations, I think Gilgamesh states this. Like Inanna, she basically created. She went to war with some people, right? And she created a whole bunch of different monsters. And
let's get back to
she had a favorite, and her favorite one was this Pan character. So it was a whole bunch of these motherfuckers that had enough human DNA, so to speak, to potentially mix with people. So I think that they basically is mutant. It's like mutant wars and shit. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, our ancestors was
I think when it comes to mythology, Greek Roman mythology, though, you have to consider representation for certain iconography. You know what I'm saying? So things like you referring to as far as the cherub or this or that or this or that, those things were commonly used in society at that time for descriptions of said this or said that. Now, could it got skewed later? Maybe, but I don't know about the rest of y'all. But when it comes to Greek mythology, it's bullshit.
No,
So
all I'm saying is like the source of a lot of these things that we come, like, you know what I'm saying, that we are familiar with. Like, what's the if it wasn't real, then where is the exception of these things? Where are they rooted in? It's just like some motherfucker tripping off some ancient ass motherfucking drug or some shit, like, you know what I mean? To where they sin and shit, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, I'm just wondering, like, what's the source of these things? Because even with the fucking Bible, like, even with, like, I could even say with my own experience, I've seen certain shit. You know what I'm saying? And that shit wasn't real. I've even had experience with multiple fucking people. I already done said the story about this shit. You know what I'm saying? I start thinking about it, I get goosebumps. That's how I know how real I know this shit is. So what I'm saying is, so maybe this, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Like these reminiscences of these things that we have reports of. I don't even know how to differentiate that shit to where I can say it's reality or not. I can't dispute it, or I can't validate it. I can't do neither war.
But I'm
again, I just think some is iconography and some things are factual
all
and
right.
other
So
things are
you
just
got that
made the fuck up.
Egyptian character where when a person getting weighed by the feather in the scale, and if they fail, then they will get eaten by this crocodile / leopard. And it's called a mutt, right? And that's a mutt. And we call a mutt today is a dog of mixed breeds and shit. And so, our ancestors created a lot of monsters, and some of them were humanoid type, and they were used for soldiers. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically it. Like today, like the whole concept of seeing these different reptilians or whatever like this that scare the shit out of initiates and these secret societies, they're used to put fear in people so that they don't tell their oaths and their secrets and shit like that. So, a lot of these things are just parlor tricks on 1,000, but you're really dealing with certain darkness practices in which they create avatars in order for demons to inhabit them. And I think that's what you get the current.
And no, Red, you right about that fear factor shit. That not fear factor like the show, but the factor of fear. That's a real, that'll keep a motherfucker obedient like a motherfucker, bro. You instill some motherfucking fear in a motherfucker, bro. Oh my goodness. So I agree with you with that to that extent, bro. Hell yeah.
Yeah, they did that. And even races have been constructed through these sciences. So, it's like, typically, like I could go on a tangent and tell you how the modern day Chinese might be one of the crispiest versions of an avatar, so that demons of the dark side could actually inhabit and communicate through them. You know what I'm saying? And that's, that's pretty heavy, because all this witchcraft, when it comes to the shit that Masons and Illuminati do, the shit that they do in China is really the apex of it all. And you know what I'm saying? I don't want to give them credit like they are creators or our ancestors. It's more like our ancestors created them and they created the white people, and then they had a confederation amongst themselves to overthrow and take over from original man. You know what I'm saying? That's why they work together now. They Ken and Ryu type swag.
I do also feel that some of those manifestation of things that have been left for us are actually the iconography from the potential entity that was interacting said with, or that they served or adhered to.
Say that one more time.
I also feel that certain iconography is also a representation, an actual manifestation of the entity that was in direct contact with them, that they were adhering or serving, period. So
now you speaking on the invoking type shit? What you doing? Are you circling the background of that?
Essentially, yes, I'm circling back around, but what I'm saying is, like, he was just saying as far as like Illuminati shit or otherwise and this and that. Like, okay, peep game. So when it came to anything Kemetic, Sumerian, Asia, like he said, because these are most of the oldest societies and stuff that there is, certain iconographies, I believe those were the actual entities that were interacting with or that they served as well. Because we were also talking about external creators. We were talking about that too, side adjunct to what we was talking about. So like we said, if someone did create the moon, was it motherfuckers from down here, or is it the species that was interacting with our planet that created our planet?
Okay,
And
so
then came in the rest of the references to keep people in control without them actually knowing who is in control.
okay, so I'm gonna attempt to separate.
I want to add something to you. I want to add something to you, Squid. I want to add something to you, bro.
Okay, I'm gonna be. The concept of planets is, to me, is dead. Like the Earth is not a globe, and it's shaped like a flower. And things that are in the heavens, they do have a spiritual reality. But when we believe in worlds, we believe in places where demons could manifest. So that's why they got us believing in aliens and different planets and things like that. Every type of creature that we will ever come across is a terrestrial or is a mutant. And so ancestors really perfected, or at least tried to hone in on the projects of avatars. What avatar is used to survive in, that they could transfer their soul and their conscious in and operate in. And basically they trying to reach more immortality. Now what's going on inside the moon might be a different type of people than what we see on the surface. And what's going on underground is most likely a different types of people than what we see on the surface. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And that's what I'm saying about, I think we do get physical descriptions. Like, you can call it an alien or extraterrestrial. That don't mean that that's what it is. It's them. Just not all of that. All of that ain't them.
Hold on. Let me say this right quick. Like, because I think like all of us, even all of us on this damn panel right now, I think like I don't know if I can relate it to astrology, but I feel like it would be right to do so. But I don't know the origin of that, how they are. Whoever came up with the science of the articulation of the astrology, because it's pretty accurate to personality. But what I was going to say is, I think that there is because I had a certain experience to where I was triggered in a certain way, to where there was a certain emittance of energy coming off of me, to where it was frightening, like it was frightening people. So I'm thinking that like a lot, not I'm gonna say all particular ones of us have an untapped. And I would say a God particle. Like I don't even like to use the word, but if you want to talk about any type of extremity or any type of extravagant type power, I feel like it's something that's I'll just speak for myself, that's in me, that's kind of like that's dormant, to where when the certain conditions come about, it's triggered and it comes out. Where I don't even know the actual formula to access it, but I feel like a lot of us have that. But we don't necessarily know what is the source of the foundation of that shit, because it's actually like when I tell y'all there was literally like a certain articulated mist, like a mist. When this shit happened to me, when I was so everywhere, like when Natty was talking about the emotion, I agree with him to a certain extent, to where there was a certain like aura type of like I'm telling y'all the detail of it. It was like beyond, like, remember Vicky, when we were talking about the colors, how we looking at the colors now, but when you enter that certain level of that power, everything started looking like liquidy and shit. Like everything like started looking like more like the colors are breathing type shit. When you enter a certain realm of yourself, and I feel like that untapped energy is something that when we getting disrupted by all these damn frequencies and shit, it's inhibiting us. You know what I'm saying? From accessing, because it's almost like these motherfuckers creating a barrier for us not to access that superhero type shit. You know what I'm saying? Which is like lying dormant in us.
type, type deal.
I'm gonna give you an example.
Go ahead,
I'm gonna give
go
you
ahead.
2 examples. I'm gonna give an example to you, and I'm gonna give an example to him.
I just hope I'm not saying like some weird shit to y'all.
No. I'm gonna give you 2 examples. I'm gonna give you an example about what I'm talking about. I'm gonna give you examples of shit that happened. First example. What I'm talking about is how you know of the fallen angels. Do I believe there was an entity that had the ability to fly? Spaceship, not spaceship, whatever the fuck you want to call it otherwise. Yes. Do I feel that they are angels? No, but that's the term you have been given. Fallen angel. So let's think about that term. If you're talking about an entity that came down to where you live and had knowledge, that's what I'm saying. We're told things, but in a particular light, as to where it's just seen a particular way, but that does not giving us clues as to who the interferers or creators are.
Now, Vicky, let me just input right quick.
Now, hold
let me
on.
just put a little insert right quick. Insert. What if we are the fallen angel motherfuckers that basically fell with what? I'm not trying to. I'm just not trying to. I'm just saying. What if that shit? These motherfuckers know, like you know how like the Mormons, like if they say if your skin is brown, you're cursed by Satan or some shit. You know, like it already seems like there's an offset disposition towards people that particular.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to get that deep. I'm just trying to stick it to this topic.
Towards, particularly here in America, toward us to where we're literally put in a motherfucking box to where even though motherfuckers can come up from a whole other country, they can thrive. But here it is, we're still limited in some type of way through some type of laws, some type of like, you know what I mean? Like to where it's like, what is all of that for if we ain't shit, like why the fuck you gotta like have all this type of pressure and this frequency and this manipulation shit? My bad, go ahead. I'm just like, go ahead, my bad.
I'm just saying, as far as terminology bullshit goes, that's an example. You've been taught or heard of a fallen angel, but you don't actually know what a fallen angel is, or if that has something to do with the creator or creation. Can the fallen angels also be you? It's possible that it is also us, humanity itself, in an evolved form as well. Yes, I will say that. But that's just one of the things I'm saying about you giving clues in iconography, but it's skewed. Because it's the same to say about the entity when it came to the things that you've been presented to or that has been found as far as like deep earth dives and digs and bullshit like that. If a motherfucker open up a tomb that ain't been opened up for I don't know how long and they find a spaceman on the wall, are you really not going to think twice about what type of thing they had to see to draw that?
And let's talk about that real quick because
now Squid, before you say that, I want to hear anybody. Ain't nobody else been said. We've been the only three. I want to hear the input from the rest of the panel. Like, what's up, y'all? What's going on? Y'all ain't got nothing to add to this shit. What's good? Justin and Illustrious, motherfucking knowledge. What's good?
Right? While I got this shit warmed up, I'm gonna go ahead and say that. Look, I dropped a video a while ago on my channel called "The Fallen." And what species, fallen angel species revealed, some dumb shit like that, whatever. But anyways, the point is that during my study of spirit orbs, I noticed that there was a spirit orb that was filmed outside or above in our atmosphere, like close to space type shit. And the relationship between the face on that spirit orb coincided with what we call night stalkers. There might be maybe 2 video footages of night stalkers over in California. They look like white beings with 2 legs and like, you know, they just walking across the forest park or one shit like that. But anyways, you can see artifacts showing these things in Egypt to Australia to China where they just look like 2 legs. Now,
I was just about to say, ain't there also Native American lore? Because I'm pretty sure that's the same thing.
So,
okay.
So these things have the same facial features as this spirit orb it's not even, it might not even be a spirit orb, but I think I'm gonna call it a spirit orb. It's shaped just the same way though. But so the cave paintings that show this Azazel cat with this long sling for an arm and he's mentioned all across the world and shit. At least this species is also the face found in the Yanaguni in Japan, and you can see it in Arabia. This just is basically an entity that grew out the ground, or at least came down from a spirit or form through lightning into the ground, grew into worms, became giants, and fucked around. So maybe if you go see the video, you'll get a better explanation, because I'm kind of rusty in talking about it. But the concept of what that fallen angel shit is like, really, in the scripture, they left their first estate and they wasn't supposed to come down to this estate. But when they left their first estate, they changed their form and they stayed in a particular form. And it's like these things got the same face, and they basically look like kind of like grays, kind of like grays. I actually got a mud fossil of one of their heads, and it's a huge white head. It's like a if you can imagine a white goddamn a gray alien mixed with like a cricket type shit. It looked like kind of like an insect, but it don't have like an insect body.
I wouldn't even call it that. I would say it looked like a whitewashed clothespin walking that's flailing.
Okay, but
because I'm seeing that motherfucker.
You talking about the Night Stalker? See,
I'm talking about the Night Stalker.
Right. See, I'm talking about another form of those same creatures.
Right, but that's what I'm saying about the iconography. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's the reference I was given, because that's the strongest one. But you were absolutely 100% right. That's what I'm saying. So some of them, I just believe they are accurate depictions and shit of, and descriptions of. And the rest is bullshit to throw you off scent, because when they first got here, there was actual record keeping going on properly. But how would you be able to know now between the manifestation of shit, demons, deities, and all this other, and lore? And that's what I'm saying.
Now look, now let me ask y'all. Like, can we will we all agree?
It's like
go ahead.
Spiritual beings, or like, I don't even know what to call it, a spiritual being. It's kind of like a sky sperm or some shit. And that motherfucker comes down in the lightning bolts, and it interacts with life in the ground, and it can take on various forms. And that's what I think the concept of fallen angels is, because I got a picture from, I'm not sure where this picture is from, but it's the picture of a sky. And in the clouds, you can see tall ass shadows of giants in the clouds. Now, when I took and I enhanced this photo, the picture of the beings in the clouds was exactly like the spirit orb creature and the night stalkers and the shit on the cave wall and the picture of the Yanaguni statue and the shit over in Arabia. So this concept, whether it be, you know what I mean, whether you call it fallen angel or not, it seems to be consistent that these heavenly creatures, they all typically look similar and the same, kind of like your idea of archons, and they traversed into the earth and was able to mix around, I suppose. You know what I mean? And so that's my experience when it comes to that fallen angel concept. Now, what Star said earlier, as far as if we all are that, remember that that
not all certain ones of them.
That's fine, because basically the heavens and the earth, it seems that evidence suggests heavens and the earth always made it one way or another. The things on the earth or in the earth and the things in the heavens always had a relationship. So that shit goes back, and I study a lot of cave paintings, and that shit goes back to where it's like this was always how things changed on a major scale when it came to life forms and their body type and shit like that. It's hella interesting, but it's old as fuck.
I just wanted to add, like, I just wanted to ask, like, could we agree that over here, well, in this land over here, like, we're isolated to a certain degree?
Say that one more time.
To where us over here that look like familiar to a certain our ethnicity, like, would it be too would it be going too far if I would say that we're not isolated? Because I'm just asking, like, is it not obvious that we are isolated to a certain degree? where we are like we're literally like sectioned off or corned off to the rest of the motherfucking world type shit. I got a sense of that shit, like to where like we're corned off, like here it is, like here when you see these motherfuckers, like it's because everywhere, like I don't know, maybe it's just me, because when I go places, I just
no, I know what you mean, and
there's
other people like that too. No, I know what you're trying to say because that's just like what I feel you're trying to say is like where we live is not the same as like where the other people live. Like we just own a little piece of land compared to how much land is actually out here and inhabited actually. So the zoo's over here, that's us, and then you got them they over there. Like
what I'm saying is because we're in this certain form that we're in over here, where here it is, we got a huge populace of motherfuckers. Here you got isolated or concentrated numbers in certain areas to where what if we're the rawest form of energy to where these motherfuckers have created an environment for us to be encapsulated to where they can suck the raw form, like the same thing what they do on the damn earth with the oil and shit. What if we are that raw form of energy where they have to create this environment? It's like, well, we're gonna have the motherfuckers, because if you motherfuckers get too much leeway, then we're gonna lose control and it's gonna be all over for us type shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, man. Like that shit. Like I said, I feel like if we were left alone to where we would literally be able to go off like just over here, just hearing me. I'm just speaking American, motherfucking copper complected American motherfucker.
This is
go ahead.
like a Truman Show. This is like, think of the Truman Show mixed with the Hunger Games and a big ass petri dish, and you got our 7 continents and the shit going on there.
Because this shit weird. All of this shit
it's
weird
to me.
Too.
It's a petting too.
All of this shit weird to me, bro. This shit weird to me.
Now, I was gonna mention the other thing. That was my thoughts on the first thing as far as iconography and the external energies and entities and things like that. I was just gonna give you the second example, which had something to do with you, Star, which was about some shit that happened. Now, as far as you seeing shit, here's what I'm saying. I don't believe in mass hallucinations. Here's why I don't believe in mass hallucinations. The shit happened to me.
Let me just add an answer right quick, because I said this to certain motherfuckers and they say like they motherfucker just concluded to where y'all all crazy, y'all all lost your mind type shit. But go ahead, Joe.
No, because I had came back to St. Louis so I can go for a visit. This was like the one and only time I went to St. Louis. I have not been back to St. Louis since that shit happened. I went to go visit St. Louis. Hadn't been there for like a couple of years. I go. No, I take that back. Yeah, I had just moved back to St. Louis. We decided to do something random, me and some people, and we were gonna go do some shit we don't ever do, like going to the club. Okay. It's a group of people together who's not normally ever together and would never have another reason to be together outside of me. Okay? Meaning it was my brother-in-law, my best friend, and my other best friend from school, but have not none of us hung out one time ever together in a group. This night we go out. Everything happens. And y'all already know how I told you about how St. Louis is just an entity itself. So after all the drama and the bullshit that happened tonight, when I say everything happened, we never made it to the club, okay? We had to drive to East St. Louis to go complete our activities, but we never actually made it to the club because there was so much shit that happened. It just never happened, including a fight, someone getting robbed for their weed, and a motherfucker got locked up and we had to get him out of jail. So we never actually got to go to the club and kick it and have fun. None of that shit happened. So as we get the friend out of jail, we head back over to St. Louis. So we're leaving the east side. We come back. There's an area in St. Louis called Baden. That area is wicked as fuck. Now, as we're driving through this little connection, Baden area is the area that's old St. Louis, or old Italian St. Louis, as you will put it, but it's vacant. It's Crackhead City. and shit there. But it's your gap in between the coming from the city into the county. So you have to pass through Baden.
I know
We're
exactly what
driving
you're,
through Baden.
I've been up there. Go ahead. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, so we're going through Baden. We get to where the park is in Baden, and we see some shit. We all see it. We looking up ahead to us to the right, and we all notice there's a vehicle with no distinct markings or lines or clear, solid station. But you could tell it's something there, or you understand what I'm saying? You see a vehicle, but you know and can see there is not a physical vehicle there, but you physically see it. Are you following me? So as we approach this vehicle, it's just black. It's just blackness. It's just darkness in the shape of a vehicle with the hood up. And as soon as you got to the front of that vehicle, we all saw a man standing over a dead man with a knife in his hand. But again, neither men were actual physically there. And we saw this shit approaching it, and we saw it as we were there, and we saw it when we drove past it. And I know for a fact we saw residual energy or echo of a crime or malevolent act. The spirits were in motion of reliving what had happened, and we saw it. Now, how the fuck we all just randomly see that, and we're never normally all together? So we're not what you would consider a cluster of people that could have a hallucinatory event. And I will yield the floor.
I was just gonna say because I hear what you're saying. I just want to add to that with the question. Like, have any of y'all ever had a dream where you actually have an experience of somebody else, and you wake up, and when you wake up, you see the remnants of what took place, like you see evidence of things that took place as soon as you basically
Like,
you remove your form of your attachment to that experience of that individual. Like I'll just because I sound vague as fuck. I'll just tell the story. Like me and my woman, we I'm in St. Louis, and it's funny. That's why I said I've been up there, Vicky, because I stayed in St. Louis for a while. But I'm up there, me and my woman, we chilling and shit, right? You know, our regular little thing. It was just me recently getting out the military too. So me and my woman, we chilling, we at the crib, and we watching little movies like Eddie Murphy and all this shit, laughing and shit, just chilling, regular shit, you know what I mean? And I start motherfucking just start like dozing off. And like St. Louis, when I don't know if any of y'all been, besides Vicky, y'all been to St. Louis. If you realize it's dismal there. It's like a dismal type of atmosphere when you go there. Almost like there's some type of like shadowy like cloud over the whole entire motherfucking place of St. Louis. I don't know if anybody else recognize that shit, but I recognize shit. It's dismal as fuck. You got a lot of cathedral churches and shit. A lot of like gargoyle motherfucking churches with cathedral. Like it's weird, man. It's almost like
Don't
go ahead.
forget, they based The Exorcist off of that.
I didn't
That
know.
shit happened there.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But when I got there, I didn't know that. But what you just said now, I didn't know that. But I was just saying
That shit happened there, and everybody in St. Louis know not to go to that motherfucking hospital.
There's a portal
when I
there.
got there, go ahead.
There's a monument.
Listen. What I'm saying though, if any of y'all go there ever, you will recognize there is literally like a dark cloud that just hovers over the whole entire fucking city. It's weird. It's weird as fuck. And everywhere you go, it look like it's just like it's like
on another frequency. It is on a whole nother frequency.
It's a whole
St. Louis, the capital
of Missouri. I don't even know. I don't even know. I just know. I'm just talking about this, but let me just say this. Let me just say this story. I'll be quick. What I'm saying is like I'm chilling with my woman and shit. You know, man, we lay on the bed. I'm drifting in and out. We watching movies and shit. I'm drifting out of like a dream state. I go into the dream state. But see, as I go into the dream state, my consciousness go into go into a whole other scenario where I'm overlooking a situation that's taking place somewhere in the city somewhere I don't even know. I don't know nobody. I don't know nobody out there. How the fuck am I drifting off and experience where I have a projected view of a certain situation? This shit
Right.
took
You
place
might be
where
receptive.
now hold
It
on
might
now.
be like you being.
Okay,
Oh, go
hold
ahead.
on. Well, let me just say this. What I'm saying is, as I'm having a projected view of a certain scenario, niggas have a bad deal go wrong type shit. My consciousness literally taps into the individual that the bad deal go wrong. This motherfucker end up getting killed because the bad deal go wrong, right? I experienced this motherfucker's death, bro. I literally experienced this motherfucker's death where I feel like I just died, right? So that motherfucker got popped, bam. Why when this motherfucker got shot, I felt the death, but I awoke. I came back into my contact. I came back into my body. And as soon as I came back into my body, ambulance, all you heard was ambulance. Woo, woo, woo. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as not before or after. When I woke up, ambulance. And it just started, like, before it was just clear skies. Instantly it started raining, bro, out of no fucking where. So to me, like that type of dramatic experience, like, damn, I just projected or through a projection of consciousness. I witnessed somebody just being murdered right there. From me, my consciousness transferring from me to a certain situation where I have no idea about nothing. To where I literally just witnessed motherfucker get murdered.
I'm telling you right now, the shit that happened to you is only gonna happen in particular places, and St. Louis is one of them. This is what I'm saying. I told you, that motherfucker is an entity. The ground is actually living. You do think I'm fucking playing? That shit is real.
Yo.
You're not the first person I heard say some shit
And
like
there's something about St. Louis, the mythology behind that dude. I forgot what it is, but there's some.
Oh, about the
Exorcist?
Exorcist?
Something about St.
Saint,
Louis.
think of Saint itself is biblical. Saint.
Look.
Saint Louis. You know what I mean? Like that. All that shit is biblical. That's Catholicism.
Everybody calls that motherfucker the pit. Everyone calls it. Everyone in St. Louis calls it the pit, the devil's pit, because they know you can feel that shit. We don't have to talk to this. We don't have to actually communicate with each other about the shit. We already know it.
Look, we could all
plan.
Everybody on the panel can plan a trip and go there, nigga. Everybody will see, nigga. Ain't gonna be no
like,
words to be
it's not a lie, but that's what I'm saying about the Malcolm Bliss shit.
Like, oh, what the fuck is this shit? I guarantee you, man. Go ahead though.
The Exorcist was based off of the hospital Malcolm Bliss in St. Louis. Okay, this hospital, that was the point. It went from being Malcolm Bliss used to be an insane asylum. When they did the conversions of the healthcare system is when they turned the shit into a hospital. Okay, but before that, it was a church. That's how big this motherfucker was. So it has several histories, but it publicly, unless you live there, you only know about one. Did that shit happen in St. Louis? Yes, it happened to a boy and not a girl. If you ever went to Malcolm Bliss or walked past that bitch or drove past it, like without you even knowing what it was as a kid, you would get scared as fuck. Something in you was just getting snatched just being near it. Everybody in that motherfucker knew about the chair. It was a chair stuck on the ceiling from the exorcism. That motherfucker was stuck on the ceiling until they tore it down 4 years ago.
So what's that loop called? That little arc. What's that shit called?
The arc.
The arc. That little fake ass silver rainbow.
Man, that's just a portal. That's just a portal, bro.
It's just a portal to the west.
I'm looking. Well, you know what? I'm looking at a picture, and it's the picture is taken right over the water across the way, and it looks like a perfect zero.
I was in that
exactly.
motherfucker, bro. It's a portal.
But that's why I'm saying I feel like that motherfucker is a Stargate without it having to physically do some shit.
Gateway. Yeah,
but why do you think they call it the gateway to the west?
Because that's the place of the dead.
Bingo.
Wow.
So what you think happening in the inhabitants of that motherfucker? Now
Shadow.
you may not know, like, and you Asian, right? So you really gonna find this interesting. So let me tell you a little bit about my history.
I'm not Asian, really. I'm just like, I'm like.
You say you light skin, but I'm gonna tell you the history.
Let me add it. Black and my father's Native American.
What'd you?
Native Americans got that Chinese.
But hold on, let me add it right quick because the arc is similar. It's similar to the arc. The arc is similar to the obelisk, bro. It's very similar.
You know what I said?
Go ahead, though.
I heard another voice. What was you saying?
That was me. I said that he did say he was Asian though.
Yeah,
I did. I said I was Asian, black, and Chinese.
And I had
yeah, but
listen.
You also said that Japan, and because I'm reading the chat, and you said that Japan and China rule masonry.
They do.
Where you get that nonsense from, bro?
Man, that's not nonsense. That's facts, B.
No, they
everything
don't.
that everything Europeans do.
Oh shit, we got a challenge. We got a challenge. Let me say, let them iron it out. Go ahead, y'all go.
Okay.
No, they don't. I want both y'all at the same time. I want you, and I want that other idiot root words to come on here too. I want both of y'all together. I go ahead and iron both y'all out together. First of all, Freemasonry.
They have a lot of secrets, bro. They have a lot of secrets.
I'm not addressing you. I'm addressing Squid.
You're right, though.
That shit is funny, B. Freemasonry and Masons and Illuminati are hordes.
Okay, well, tell me what you know about them. Tell me
he said that compared to the ancient knowledge that therefore is in. I mean, Squid Asian. He know his ancestors was black.
Tell me one thing you know about Freemasonry. Just tell me one thing you know about.
I'm gonna tell you.
Tell me what it is. First, tell me what it is. Tell me what Freemasonry is.
It's a fact to me so hard that I can.
Asians do hold a lot of.
Well, I'm asking a simple question. It requires a simple answer. What is Freemasonry?
What I know about
no, I didn't ask you what you know. I'm asking you, what does it mean? What does Freemasonry mean?
It means
if you give me the right answer, I'll tell you. But if you give me the wrong answer, then just don't say nothing else about it.
You got Scottish.
Oh yeah, it is a right answer.
I don't know.
It is a right answer.
Are you Scottish?
I'm both of them. I'm Scottish and York. You got to be York in order to be Scottish.
So that means your feelings is hurt when you just realize that don't mean shit to a Japanese or a Chinese.
I don't give a damn about no dragon society. That's its own society.
You don't have to.
No,
but
I
I'm
don't.
telling you.
Let's not talk
I'm
about
telling
that.
you that.
I'm just talking about Freemasonry, bro. Tell me what it means. Tell me what it means. Don't dance because ain't nobody playing music.
Get out your perspective.
Don't dance because ain't nobody playing music.
Stop interrupting.
Just tell me what Freemasonry means, and we could kill it right there.
Freemasonry means you suck dick for the devil.
See, there you go.
How you feel?
That's what I thought. You don't even know what the word means.
That's what
So don't even say nothing about it, bro. Don't even say nothing about it.
You know what?
You don't even know what it means. So we can
know
go something. You don't even know what it means.
I see what it's going.
You don't even know what it means, bro.
Hey, I'm not.
You know what I'm saying? White people ain't shit, B. The fuck is you talking about?
No.
You know what I'm saying? You Scottish, right? You know how that do
you bring him. Bro,
so you saying Scottish right? You saying Scottish right come from white people?
What the fuck are you proud about?
You saying Scottish right came from white people?
Geez. I tried to help. I tried
to take it way back to Egypt if you want.
Egypt is elementary, bro. If you say anything,
it's elementary.
If you say anything to me about Egypt,
that shit is whack. All that shit is whack. All you do is blood suck on people, man.
Tell me what it means.
And serve them food.
It's whack. Tell me what it means.
Serving
you sound like a dummy now, bro. You sound like a straight dummy. You can't even say what the word means.
Come on, man. That shit
you sound like a real dummy, bro. You sound like a dummy. Just speak on what you know about. Don't speak about
what are the benefits if there is any benefits?
Don't speak on that song. I can represent it 100%. Don't speak on shit you don't know about.
No,
I'm not saying you don't.
Honestly,
I didn't call you dumb. I didn't call you none of that.
Honestly,
I think you're a very intelligent dude.
To the Jews.
But if you can explain,
you should
speak on it.
You rule over the game.
I mean, yeah, but bring
it's a whole lot of people talking. It's a whole lot of people talking. Just let me say this one thing. All right. What I'm saying is, I never called Squid. I never called him an idiot. I never said he wasn't intelligent. You're a very intelligent dude.
That's what it is, though.
What I'm saying is, don't speak on nothing you don't know nothing about. If you don't know nothing about.
Hey, can I say something, y'all?
Don't say
can I say something real quick?
No,
y'all was having a great build until y'all
what it do?
Hey, y'all was having a great build until y'all started talking over each other, man. Y'all can disagree and still and we can understand where y'all coming from. He was just asking a point. And Freemasonry just mean fellowshipping with the fellowshipping with the brotherhood and that common cause.
Don't mean no brotherhood. When did
it don't mean that
anything good for anybody but themselves?
You don't know because you don't know what it is.
Okay,
don't know what you keep saying.
What he was saying is give a good argument, then allow someone else to say or to explain.
That shit.
You don't know shit, man.
I'm not a face ass motherfuckers.
You don't know shit. You don't even know the fuck you come from.
Holding hands with the white man.
Nigga, you 2/3 white, 2/3 black, 2/3 Asian. Nigga, what the fuck are you?
Can I make a reference? Can I make a reference to both to calm the conversation? Can I make a reference to both? All right, I'm gonna make it. Is that okay for you, Squid and Illustrious? Is that good? Can I make a reference to both? We good? All right. So like, couple of similarities when it comes to Freemason and Wicca and the Scottish Rite, because Scottish Rite is also using the 7th degree York with the 32 degree Mason. Now, on your side, Squid, as far as what you're saying, your laws are entirely different. So, with that being said, the adaptations that have come from that, because we know who the Yorks are, right? We know who they are as an English line. We know these things. But when it comes to your side, as far as the bylaws are concerned, because I consider things like Sun Tzu ancient knowledge 100, but it's applied differently from different perspectives. So is there something that you can say as far as the Dragon Order in reference to Freemasonry and as to how that has developed from said things? That's all I'm asking. I'm just backing up.
Deeper upon.
I thought I already. Did I not? Did I not hear my?
None of it made sense.
It is what it is. Look at Trump and Kim Jong-un. I keep it in a public event. You think anything going to come out from that? You know what I mean? Look how that shit go. Like, I don't even want to. I don't know. Go ahead. Ask me another question. Ask me the question again. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying. Okay, I say as far as similarities go, when it comes to the two comparisons, if we're talking about what you're speaking on versus Freemasonry, I said it is funny that Wicca uses the Scottish Rite. Also, the Scottish Rite is used 7th degree York, and we know who the lines of Yorks are as far as the English, and also 32 degree Masonry. So when it comes to things like your orders and bylaws, can you give those same examples as far as similarities? Because I believe things like the writings of Sun Tzu are refined writings of your people.
Okay,
you repeated yourself.
All that, but I mean, check this out. I don't claim no motherfuckers. I'm greater than them. You know what I'm saying? Check this out. Anything a white person does is given to them by the Asians, or is a remnant of what was given to them by original man. The Asians are the ones that put the battery in Europeans' back, and they serve as a buffer zone between original man and the Asians. The Asians are the invisible empire. They are the hidden hand.
No, they hid higher.
That's a lie.
Finish.
Oh, that's a lie.
Asia was a part of California.
I understand what you're saying. I understand that as far as the Asian culture, what I'm saying, okay, put it to you like this. In that perspective, I would easily say, then yes, that's also true, but it was refined. If we're talking about actual race, I would say that yes, that's true because it was refined. I'm sorry. No, I'm trying to no, you're saying as far as race wise.
Vicky, can I just round this up?
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to. I got that, but
hold on. Can I?
But you long rounding.
Is owned by North Korea. Okay. North Korea sends letters to white supremacists in America. Right now, there's a North Korean political party in America headed by white supremacists. So they have white supremacists in America are under the white supremacists of Asia. So anything a white person does is under the foot of an Asian hierarchy. And anything a black
so what's the point?
America,
what's the end of the day?
Some bullshit buddy shit with the white Masons who don't even give them respect.
within that hierarchy, there are particular rules and rituals, and I'm just asking for a comparison of those things.
He can't give you one, Vicky.
Or examples.
I can give you one. I can give you one, and I'm agreeing with it.
He can't give you one because he don't know.
Not why is he talking? I just laid down.
I can agree with you and say that Masons means mother's son. Masons means mother's son.
Hey, what's good, bro?
What's going on with that? Mason means mother's son, and it's a organization that's only made in America. It's not nowhere else in the world.
Who's that? That's only one.
Root words, yes, root words, but
mothers of the
hold on. Y'all talking about foot soldiers and pawns. We talking about spirituality, and we talking about spirituality and knowledge. So on that scope, again, that's all I'm at. Okay.
Ritual. I just want to get a ritual.
Hold on, let me tell you something.
He can't give you one, Vic. You asking him to give you something he can't give you because he.
Hey, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Can I say one thing real quick? Y'all going good, man. But
what's good, Huey?
What's good?
I gave an example. Go ahead, Huey. Go. What's up?
Indigenous. We hear you, bro, but you like over everybody. You got.
I'm sorry, my bad. I'm done.
Just mute over it, bro. Let them speak, y'all. Let everybody speak so we can hear the argument, dog. Points. Everybody making good points, and I want to hear this good argument right here. This is a good one right here. But I really want to be able to hear both views, but y'all got to let each one speak, man. We got to be able to hear Squid, and we want to hear goddamn Cook. Let Cook and goddamn Vicky and Root Words talk. Let them four work it out real quick.
All right, we with it. We keeping it civil. So okay, and that's 100. I just want to understand that more because that's what I feel like I am. Here's what I'm saying to you. What I'm saying to you is some of the oldest knowledge of the world derives from Asia. We know this. Some of the oldest knowledge of the world derives from Africa. Okay, we know this. What I'm saying is, as far as those things considered, I consider Sun Tzu a mandatory law there, unconsciously, consciously, however you want to put it. So in that perspective of things, of bylaws or rituals, what are those examples that we can relate to on his side? I gave you 2 examples on his side. I gave you 1 example of what I feel that entails for me on that side. So let's leave it there, like build from there and just tell me from there.
But I'll let y'all.
It seemed like when y'all say the ancient stuff comes from Asia, y'all forget that the only way to get to Asia is through California. So it was one united Asiatic. It was the Americas and Asia. That's where all the ancient stuff comes from. There ain't nothing ancient that comes from Africa. And that's just my opinion. I ain't saying I'm right. I'm just saying y'all always got the Americas. But anyway, the same ritual.
Man,
that's a non-response to what the fuck the sister asked though, bro.
I'm just going on.
No, debunk.
Y'all be getting offended at my
you can't get offended when you literally like trying to
we hear what you're saying as far as the knowledge level, but
don't take us off because she wasn't even. It was red. It was squid and it was cooked. Like that's what the fuck. Like all this extra shit. Like I want to hear the shit too. This shit is interesting. Guys. This is some juicy talk. God damn it! I want to hear this shit.
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Can I finish my little thing?
Vic, won't you do something for me?
Okay.
You address your questions to him. He gave you absolutely nothing on Asiatic or nothing. He gave you absolutely zero.
Can I answer my question real quick?
So won't you ask me something about Freemasonry and let me tell you a proper response?
Vicky, wasn't that referred to squid? That was on squid. That was on squid.
It's just a squid. It's just a squid. And here's what we
squid.
It's a squid. But here's what we're gonna do.
So y'all gonna wait till I start talking and then just go because I just said it's not African, and then y'all gonna get mad just cut my conversation.
Bro, no, just pump your brakes, my nigga. Pump your brakes, homie. Pump your brakes, my nigga.
I'm just like, can I talk for a second, bro?
Nigga, pump your brakes, nigga. If you gonna feel like you gonna forget what you saying, pump your brakes, nigga. You can say what you gonna say, but pump your brakes, nigga. God damn it.
Let him speak real quick,
Just let me talk.
Are you from Africa?
Hell no, I ain't from Africa. But pump your brakes though, bro, because the conversation, bro. You just added some shit. You just
y'all have to understand. Y'all have to understand. You have to understand this.
It ain't had nothing to do with you, bro.
No. You have to understand this. You have three places. You have three places. No.
Brakes, bro, because you shouldn't even been talking, bro. You shouldn't even been saying that.
I was just talking
Hold
about.
on.
Man, you shouldn't have been saying that.
I'm sorry. We're gonna keep this simple. We're gonna keep it simple and civil. Now, if we're gonna keep it simple and civil, let's agree. We're gonna keep it simple and civil. Let's agree on these three things.
Bro, you don't want me to start. You don't want me, bro. You don't want me to start, nigga. You don't want me to start raging, nigga.
Hold on.
You don't want that part, nigga. Nigga, you do not want that motherfucker smoke at all, nigga.
Listen. It's a multitude of personalities on the panel. Me and him.
African and Asian shit. All I said is American got all this stuff too because the only way to get the Asian and then everybody want to come out on me. I'm about to
Okay.
And then we start talking about y'all secret society asking me subject. How the hell you going to ask society, nigga, about a secret society?
We're gonna keep it simple.
So how you going to ask the secrets about the people that's in the secret society? Y'all in the secrets. Y'all got the secrets, so y'all ain't gonna tell y'all secrets.
So I'm just saying. I can't, honey.
Can I moderate?
I'm trying to moderate. If I can be allowed, I was told I could be allowed to moderate. So
but when a nigga want to talk about you Mason group, y'all get mad and won't let a nigga talk.
No, nobody get mad, bro. No, bro, you ain't, man. You can come, man. Look, bro, you come with your ass off, bro. All I was saying is pump your brakes because there was a certain conversation, bro. There was a certain conversation. No, bro, there was a certain conversation that was happening before you even opened your damn mouth. Before you even opened your damn mouth, why don't you hold that question?
How can you ask the secret society niggas about secrets?
Okay.
Bruh, it ain't about look,
You don't even know what the
bruh.
fuck she was gonna ask you though.
That's,
You don't
that's
even
what
know
I'm.
what the
That's
fuck she was gonna
Nigga,
ask.
how the fuck, nigga? I was talking. They start cutting me off, nigga, because y'all some secret society niggas.
Don't nobody
you
want to hear
off
that
the
shit you
look.
talking.
Damn.
Hold up, man. Hold up, man. Man, hold up, fuck, man. Hold the fuck up, bruh. Hey, man, hold up, bruh. Hold up, nigga. Hold up, bruh. Ain't nobody cut you off, bruh. Hey, it was already a prior, bruh. It was already a prior conversation before you even came in this motherfucker, bruh. Get the fuck, nigga. Ain't no soul. Hold up, nigga. Hold up for a second, nigga. Hey, why don't you hold up for a second, bruh? Why don't you hold up for a second, bro? Why can't you do that, bro?
It's not me.
Why can't you do that, bro? Why can't you? Why can't you, nigga? Why can't you shut the fuck up, nigga, until these niggas talk they shit and hash it out? Why you gotta
I'm
talk,
trying to
nigga?
hash it out. If I can help.
No, Vicky, this ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm talking to this nigga right here, bro. Like, hold up, bro. Hold up, bro. No, nigga, you ain't about to be heard on nothing, bro. You already in violation. You already in violation, nigga. You in violation, bro.
Oh, you in
violated, nigga.
Bad.
What you talking about? How you
Oh,
just
how
gonna
come we got all act like alpha brothers
insert
trying to
your
do that?
bullshit? When they was already having a conversation, bro. That's disrespectful, nigga. That's disrespectful, nigga. That's disrespectful, bro. That's disrespectful, nigga. That's disrespectful, bro.
Hold on, y'all.
This conversation didn't even have nothing to do with you, bro. Add that shit later, nigga. Nah, fuck that, nigga. Add that shit later, nigga. You out of bounds, bro. You out of bounds, nigga. You out of fucking bounds, bro. Check your motherfucking self, nigga. You out of bounds. What you talking about, bro? Out of bounds, like you out of bounds like a motherfucker, dude. And you know it. And you know you out of bounds, nigga. You know it for yourself, nigga. Nah, nigga, don't try to come. Don't try to come for me, nigga. Don't call my motherfucking name, nigga. Good nigga, check this nigga, bro.
You can't cut me off.
Don't call my motherfucking name, nigga. Fuck up out of here, bro. You all the way out of bounds, nigga. What the fuck you even come from? We've been building for hours, nigga. You all of a sudden you just coming storming in, saying your rhetoric, nigga.
This is Masons and we talking about
saying your rhetoric, speaking your rhetoric, nigga. Even what the fuck? Where you even come from, bro?
Ass niggas, man.
At least be respectful for the conversation. Say, I wanna add something to that. That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say, bro. Nigga, we wanna hear you talk, but nigga, you're not about to disrupt the conversation.
That's what you did.
You're not about to disrupt the organic conversation, though, bro.
I'm confronting
You're not about to do that.
This is a conversation.
You're not about to do that, nigga. Hell no, bro. Hell no, cause you ain't about to say. I ain't about to let you.
Back into
I
organization.
ain't about to let you say nothing, nigga. Nigga, you out of bounds, bro. You out of fucking bounds, nigga.
People. Let me get back to organization.
You out of bounds like a motherfucker, dude.
All right. Let me move forward now. Let me start again and let the Empress
not about to be calling fucking trying to check me, nigga. I'm trying to bring some order to this shit, bro. Think about it here, man, whatever, man. You bogus. You bogus for that. You bogus. Man, you bogus for that, bro. You bogus as hell for that. Yeah, you bogus, nigga. You bogus, nigga. You bogus for that, bro. Fuck no, nigga. I don't fuck with them niggas at all. 0%. But that's beside the point. That's beside the point. That's beside the point, though, bro. That's beside the point, nigga. That's beside the point, dog. No, nigga, because you was talking and there was already a discussion taking place. That's why.
Damn, see, you cut me off, so you're
There was already a discussion taking place, though, bro. I'm a fair, hey man, I'm a fair nigga. Hey man, I'm a fair nigga. Wait your fucking turn, bro. Wait your turn, bro.
Ain't no turn when y'all
Wait your fucking turn, nigga. Period.
All right, got Root Word, he's on the mute. All right,
cutting me off.
Wait your turn, nigga.
Why are y'all cutting me off?
God damn it.
That's proving that all y'all
Act like you got some sense about your goddamn self, nigga. Wait your fucking turn, bro.
You gotta mute YouTube now.
Ain't nobody, bro. Hey, nigga, you can't. How the fuck you gonna claim? Hold up, bro. How the fuck you gonna claim somebody cutting you off, but you cutting off the conversation that was already happening before you even got here? That doesn't make sense, dude. That doesn't make sense, bro. How does that make sense? How does that make sense, bro? You cutting off a conversation. You claiming cut off, right? Hold up. You claiming getting cut off, right? That's your claim. You say you get cut off, but you cut off the whole conversation that was already happening before you even got here, bro.
In the middle of my conversation, you just start cutting me
off.
off.
Bro, you wasn't even here to even have a conversation to even talk about nothing.
In fairness, he wasn't trying to cut you off. He was trying to lightly moderate. In fairness, I will say that. I was trying to moderate too, but y'all let it escalate. Like,
what are you talking about?
You cut off my land, so in the middle of me saying that,
man, take a note. Take it, write down thing. I know you got a piece of paper and a pen, nigga. Nigga, write down your goddamn memory, nigga, so you don't forget. It's that simple, bro. Oh my God, this nigga. Look, bro, I recognize you obsessed. Look, man, you obsessed. You're obviously obsessed with Freemasonry, nigga. I'm not obsessed with Freemasonry. I just don't give a fuck about that shit. I don't.
Nothing comes from Africa.
You obsessed with that shit, bro.
What?
Relax.
What? You Freemasons are obsessed.
Man, relax, bro, because it was a prior conversation before you even came into the picture, dude. So you saying so what? So what? So what?
Not your channel, man. I'm a guest too.
That's disrespectful, dude.
I'm a guest too.
Man, that's disrespectful, bro. That's disrespectful, dude. That's disrespect, bro. That's disrespect, dude. That's disrespect, bro.
I'm mad that I said America.
That's disrespect, bro.
Anything you said about me, I'm saying
that's disrespect, bro. You came in, you came in violating, dog.
I'm allowed to talk, bro.
You came in violating, bro.
Dude,
you came in violating, bro. You came in violating, bro. You came in violating, bro. You came in violating, nigga.
Hey, you ain't gonna cut me off, man. It's just not gonna happen.
Man, whatever, man. You came in violating, bro.
I ain't gonna just cut me off.
Nigga, you came in violating. You in violation, nigga. You gonna get cut off. Yeah, nigga. You in violation, nigga. You gonna get cut off, nigga. Period. You gonna get cut. You gonna get cut. You gonna get cut, nigga.
Yo,
I'm not yes, cutting me off for no reason, man. It's because I'm a Pan-African ass.
I guess, man. That shit weird. That shit just weird though. This old Ghostbuster ass nigga just show up out of nowhere, bro. That's bullshit, man. That's bullshit, bro.
Big sucker, man.
That's some bullshit, bro. That is some fucking bullshit, bro. That's bullshit. I ain't no, nigga. I don't run out of gas, nigga. I don't run out, nigga. I keep going, but this shit is bullshit, though.
If now we tell me to come in here and shut
Shit is
up,
dumb.
Root word.
motherfucking page. Motherfucking page, man. Y'all ain't gonna just African ass nigga. What's wrong with you niggas, man?
I guess, man.
All y'all already in check with the Nigga,
Man, you know what you man. You know what you want, bro. You already cut, nigga. You already cut, dog.
Nigga, I ain't cutting nothing, man.
You already cut, nigga.
What, man? Y'all already cut. Y'all some 33 ass society ass people, and y'all mad when somebody can tell y'all about it. I tell you about some worthless ass.
And then business don't care who here.
Yeah, y'all fucking. Y'all like talking about niggas. Y'all like talking about all this.
Real.
Let's build. Y'all ready to build now? Y'all ready?
Keep your broken hands to yourself, bro.
Vicky is the moderator.
I'm not gonna tell you this shit, bro.
Y'all niggas
I'm the moderator. Okay.
Bro, y'all some grimy ass characters, man. That's why we like this shit.
So stop that shit.
Oh man, can we just speak, man? God damn. Can anybody else speak for us?
I want to answer my question, nigga. That's what I want.
Yeah, you about to go. You about to go ahead, bro.
I'm saying, if it's no,
go to bed. Get your ass up. Go sit on the chair.
You know how that music
lay your ass down.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yo, what's the name of their show? Everything that comes alive.
Shut the fuck up.
Clear root word.
What's the name of their show? Jerry Springer Come Alive.
Hold on, man.
Man, Jerry Springer.
Jerry
Whoever
Springer Show.
Go slick, bro.
That's who the fuck.
That's why I really didn't want to come on here. That's why I acknowledged him to shut up. I shut up, nigga.
Hold on, man. Damn, can't nobody speak it.
Answer my question. I want to answer my question.
Man, this nigga's want to argue for the sake of argument, man. I'm done with this nigga, bro. Fuck that nigga, dude.
Please be quiet, but
So I get cut off.
can everybody?
I want to ask about that question.
Ask the question first.
Hold on.
Fix your mic, root word. We can't even motherfucking hear nothing, really. So speak clearly.
Now, she was asking a question, and I was answering, and I just got cut off because I said no, nothing.
Okay, we got that. We got that. Now let's get to your question, though, man. Just make it.
No, I want to answer my question instead of getting cut off.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, that's all. And she asked, they asked me, what is a Mason? I said, a Mason and a Freemason is to sell out Negroes that join a secret society group that is mother's son. The most they can get is 33 degrees, and there's 360 degrees in a circle.
And all that's bullshit.
Can I get cut off? All the thing they push me.
Don't nobody want to hear that garbage, bro.
You gotta wrap it up, 30 seconds.
And I tell you, the leader of the Freemasons is an African. I know it's
garbage
leader. So I digress. That's all I was gonna say. You niggas can't be cutting me off because y'all from broad, nigga.
You digress. Now shut
Man, shut the fuck up, man.
You shut the fuck up, nigga.
No, you shut the fuck up, nigga. Man, you weak as fuck, bro. Man, you weak as fuck, nigga. I'll properly cut your motherfucking bitch ass off, nigga. Whole ass, nigga. Fuck you, nigga.
You still mad?
Whole ass, nigga. Whatever, bro. You came in here disrespecting. It had nothing to do with your bitch ass, nigga. What you talking about, bro? Fuck you, nigga. Man, fuck you, nigga.
For no reason.
Whatever, bro. Fuck you, man. Fuck you, nigga.
Hey, Star, bro, we trying to
come in here on that bullshit. No,
Okay,
fuck that. This nigga's obviously in violation, and y'all niggas taking this nigga's side like this nigga didn't violate, bro. Fuck up out of here, bro.
You got a problem.
Fuck up out of here, man.
Doing that shit.
Bro, straight up.
Man, whatever, man. Y'all niggas can say whatever. Y'all know. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. This nigga violated, dog. I know. Period. Period, bro.
That nigga violated like a motherfucker.
Y'all niggas can side with that niggas all y'all want to, but y'all that's just the whole. That's just the whole in y'all niggas for siding in that shit, bro. Get the fuck up out of here, man. Whatever, man. Whatever, man. Whatever, man. Whatever, nigga. Y'all niggas heard what the fuck I said, nigga. Y'all heard what the fuck I said, bro. Yeah, I hope you better have, nigga.
Yo,
I'm feeling high. My money's gone.
Oh man, y'all niggas
alone.
Whatever, nigga.
Y'all niggas is
To my true say,
whatever, man.
keeps turning.
That's weird. That's weird to me. That's weird. That's weird for niggas to side with a nigga that's in violation. That's weird, bro. That's some weirdo shit, bro.
God damn.
Can I calm down?
Y'all niggas weird, bro.
Buddy.
God damn.
Y'all niggas weird for that, bro.
Can we calm down? I'm trying to get ready for the bit.
Do it, bro.
Y'all niggas weird. Y'all niggas weird. Y'all niggas weird. I see why niggas. I see why niggas can't get nowhere. Niggas is always fighting with a nigga that's in violation. That shit don't make no goddamn sense.
We ain't getting away with the shit.
That makes no sense, bro.
Represent where you from, Storm.
Man.
What?
What?
Need to be gay for the
What the
goddamn
fuck you
Ain't no
Most
need to be gay
intellects do not believe
whatever,
in
man.
God, but they fear us just the same. Oh no,
You a violator, dog. That's all you need to know. You a violator, man.
no, oh no.
You done come your ass back down. Whatever, man. This nigga bogus, dog.
Cause you did not do your mind.
No goddamn body.
Like 1, 2, 3. The world keeps turning. Oh, what a day! What a day! What a day! The man that knows something knows that he knows nothing at all. Does it seem colder in your summertime and hotter in your fall? We were made in his image and called us by our names. Most intellects do not believe in God, but they fear us just the same. Oh, no.
And you still ain't do that shit yet.
You ain't got to say no nigga.
I'll put on everything. If y'all make me hit the third verse of this shit, y'all gonna hear my mouth. Real talk.
Give a fuck. I really don't.
You ready for it? You ready? Go hit it.
No,
go hit that shit again, Vicky.
Niggas sorry for some bitch ass niggas, bro. This is bullshit.
It's feeling kind of hungry. Cause my eye is coming down. Hey, don't feed me yours. Cause your food does not endure. I think I need a cup of tea. Oh, the world keeps turning. Oh, what a day. What a day. What a day. Are y'all done?
So Erykah Badu stole that shit from you, yo? Because I think you the one that came out with that shit first. Goddamn.
Sing that shit. Sing that shit.
Okay, so
so
what did it moderator Vicky?
Moderator Vicky says, since I had to sing and all that shit to calm y'all down, I get to choose the part of the topic as to where we are fucking at.
we're gonna move past all of that, and
No,
just
fuck
talk
that.
about.
Go back to that shit. No, this nigga disrupted that shit, bro.
Come on, man.
That's
Come
some
on, bro.
bullshit, man.
Hey, yo,
Stop
Star,
this.
cut that mute right now, B. I heard it's great.
This old mystical ass nigga disappear out of nowhere. Get the fuck up out of here, bro.
Yo,
And
Star,
I came here for your motherfucking ass, nigga. I came here because knowledge told me I could come in here with your geeking
Hey, man,
ass.
you good, bro? You good, man.
Somewhere, nigga.
Hey, you good, bro? You good, bro? Ain't good, man. Start going with that shit, man. That shit is over. We on past that shit, bro.
Man,
Everybody
whatever,
know,
man.
Thank you,
That's some bullshit, bro.
That's it. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do.
That's some bullshit, dude.
Moderator Vicky says.
Y'all niggas
I'm sorry.
okay? Y'all niggas okay with that shit? I'm not okay with that shit, bro.
Well,
whatever, nigga. I don't give a fuck what none of y'all niggas talking about, nigga. I'm not okay with that shit, dog.
Where we from? I'm gonna go do something else. Y'all know what talking about Masons, nigga. I just
Nigga, y'all niggas can't even get nothing to argue. Y'all niggas sound dumb as fuck. Just up here yelling. Can't say shit.
Man, fuck you, nigga. Don't come in with your insults, nigga. Fuck you, hoe ass nigga.
We trying to get past
fuck
it,
you,
nigga.
Whatever, nigga. Get past it, nigga, with your whole ass, nigga. Fuck you talking about with the disrespectful ass shit. I'm not even talking to your motherfucking ass. I'm gonna take your ass and you trying to side with this nigga. Yo, bitch ass nigga. Fuck you, nigga. Fuck your whole ass, nigga. Trying to side with this whole ass nigga. Fuck you, nigga.
What
What are you
just
talking
happened?
about, bro?
I shut my phone down.
Nigga.
And then don't
What
say
you
some
talking
shit.
about, bro?
What the fuck just happened?
Dude. What are you talking about, nigga? Nigga, keep on whatever, nigga. Fuck your motherfucking rhetoric ass bullshit, nigga. What you talking about, boy?
I can't.
What the fuck you talking about, nigga? Oh, fuck that motherfucker trying to dictate some shit. Get your dictator ass bullshit out of here, bitch ass nigga. Fuck you, nigga. What are you talking about, bro? Nigga, you ain't regulating shit over here, nigga. What are you talking about? Get your own cowboy ass up out of here, nigga. What are you talking about? Where the fuck you coming from too, nigga? You wasn't even in here either, nigga. What the fuck are you talking about?
Nigga. You can't cut people off because you don't got your drugs.
Whatever, man. Shut the fuck up, bro.
Me off and blame it on me, nigga.
Shut the fuck up, bro. No, nigga, you came in here on the hoop rod shit. It ain't nothing to do with you, bro. That's all I was ever saying, dude. And you want to just keep talking, nigga. We ain't had nothing to do with you, dude.
All right, he muted. Star, take this opportunity, and we're gonna let somebody, whoever the fuck else, speak other than you and Root Word. Root Word, please.
That's fine, man. I just didn't like niggas siding with it, nigga. I'm trying to check, like, hold on, man. Our people was already talking, dude. That's all I was ever saying. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. There was a conversation. There was a conversation between Vicky, between Squid, between Illustrious, and between somebody else, bro, where it didn't have nothing to do with you. I'm lying.
Yeah,
I'm panel. So you're the one. You're the one. I'm saying now, panel.
I'm about to piss everybody off in a minute.
Was that not what was happening or not? Was that not what was happening? Was that not what just was taking place?
That's exactly what was happening.
You the only one that's saying this shit, you hoe ass nigga. Get your brittle ass out of here, dude. What are you talking about, dude? You a fucking flake, nigga. You a snowflake, nigga. No, calm your ass down and get the fuck up out of here, bitch ass nigga. What are you talking about, bro? I know what the fuck I'm talking about, dude. Your ass wanna Cinderella glide with your umbrella down to the conversation, nigga. If you don't get your old tootsie roll foot ass out of here, nigga, shut the fuck up, bro. This nigga wanna float down to the conversation and say, hey, how you doing? No, fuck all of that, bro. You don't get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, dude.
I was laughing.
Fuck up, nigga.
That shit ain't
like,
this nigga wanna float down on some Tootsie Pop Cinderella ass two soft shoe ass shit, man. If you don't shut the fuck up with that dumb ass shit you talking about, bro.
They say the nigga Cinderella glide.
Get the fuck up out of here, dude.
The Cinderella glide.
The fuck are you talking about, dude?
Where we from, Mason? Where we from, Mason?
I'm not no Mason, bro. The only Mason I am is a brick builder where I have done cement work. If you want to talk about that, yeah, I've been building this thing. I did all that shit.
Man, we all work in the labor group, and we all.
But I'm not part of no damn lies or nothing like that, nigga.
I got my weed, my nigga.
Well, keep. Nigga, catch the wind and take your umbrella into a desolate island, my nigga, and float somewhere else. The fuck?
Just cause you don't got your weed, man, and I'm fronting on.
I don't even smoke weed, bro. I don't smoke weed, nigga. I don't smoke weed.
Start smoking weed.
No, the fuck I don't fuck weed, nigga. That shit make a nigga delusional, bro. I don't fuck with that bullshit.
Something, nigga.
Do some shrooms or something, goddamn it.
No, I don't. So here once again.
Are you serious? Y'all look.
So once again, niggas is siding with the nigga with the umbrella for real. Are y'all niggas serious right now? Nigga, catch another gust. Float your ass over somewhere else, my nigga. What the fuck, nigga?
Society,
you all Mary Poppins ass nigga, man. You don't get the fuck out of here, dude.
Hold on, you trying to root words now. You mean
fuck up, bro?
You don't even know how to have a decent conversation.
Man, whatever, man. You interrupted the conversation, nigga, so you can't have no room to speak at all.
Fat out like that, man.
Shut the fuck up, nigga. You did, nigga.
Oh, Mary
you
Poppins ass nigga.
Mary Poppins ass nigga.
Murray had a
with the curly ass high heel toes, nigga. This nigga got curly toes with high heels and shit. Get your bitch ass out of here, nigga.
No, chill, man. We really are trying to get back to the bill. Look, for real. Like, let's get back to the bill, man.
Fuck you, nigga.
Okay, like we
niggas like that, dude.
I'm just saying, like, we got a topic at hand. We sticking to the master plan. Let's go.
We had two conversations, but then you just come and just
moderator.
But I'm just saying, the conversation was the conversation between me, Squid, and Cook.
Because
yes.
you was talking, Vicky, you were talking about the certain visions,
I understand that. Listen to what I'm saying.
There, Star. You ain't got.
Listen.
I remember that shit, and maybe everybody else don't. I remember that. What the fuck you said?
I'm saying.
Damn.
But I'm just saying. Y'all know how some people like. I lost my train of thought. I didn't want her to lose their train of thought. I wanted to hear what the fuck she was saying.
Train of thought. All right, chill out. You good?
Shit, man.
Right. Now, Vic,
no, man, don't do that, bro. I'm good, though. Don't. Nigga, don't try to highlight. Don't try to spotlight me, nigga. No, don't do that, bro.
It was like that.
Don't do that, Squid, bro. Because we gonna have an issue, bro. Now you telling me to shut my dumb ass. For real, you wanna go there, Squid? You wanna go there, Squid? For real, bro?
Your shit.
You wanna be on some disrespectful 2-ass nigga? For real?
Face ass nigga.
You all yellow piss in the
we can get to a better place.
You all yellow piss in that snow ass nigga. Are you here? Are you serious, nigga? You want to go there with me, nigga?
Might yet.
Nigga, you all mellow yellow ass nigga. Are you serious, bro? You all open the top ass fizzly ass nigga. Are you serious, bro? You all bubbly top ass nigga. Are you serious, bro? Nigga, who the fuck is you, nigga? Is you Moses, nigga, or is you Goliath, nigga? What the fuck are you, bro? Are you serious, nigga? You all red, nigga. How you a nigga and got red hair, bro? What the fuck is that? What the fuck are you, dude? Are you serious, nigga? Are you a nigga fox or something? This the fox nigga over here. You a foxy nigga, huh? you a foxy nigga, huh? Red. You wanna go there with you wanna go with me, nigga? For real? For real, nigga? Your motherfucking lips, nigga, the color of your lips look like your asshole, nigga. They the same color. What are you talking about, dude?
Big one nostril having ass.
Man, whatever, nigga. Let your old Santa Claus looking ass up, nigga. Fuck up out of here. Oh, this nigga's a tan Santa Claus. Like, for real, dude? Are you serious, dude?
Kit Kat face ass nigga.
Whatever, man. You roly-poly face ass nigga, man. You're like, your motherfucking face is looking balled up in a fist, nigga. Get the fuck up out of here.
This nigga face swole for no reason. The fuck?
Don't make me.
I'm done, guys. Like, I don't even know what to do. Like,
this nigga beard look like porridge and shit. You don't get the fuck up out of here, dude.
Stars leaking out you, bro. The Mason leaking out you, man. Go get you some powder, bro.
What are you talking about, dude? I ain't no Mason, nigga. The only type of Mason I am is a builder, bro.
That's the
only Mason.
Let's get to the bill.
The only type of Mason I am is a builder, bro. I ain't none of that shit.
Freemason on this panel is me, man.
Conversation. I ain't gonna let it go nowhere. Let's keep
whatever. Then don't, nigga. You can keep getting slapped around if you want, nigga. You gonna keep getting spun with your umbrella, nigga, like a tornado, and you gonna keep flying high. God damn it!
I don't want to have to get loud. That's the problem I'm having right now.
You gonna keep getting spun, nigga.
I can tell Stars he winding down. And
whatever, man. You winding down. Look at your ass.
Illustrious.
Look, hold on, y'all. Old Saint Nick talking about he wanted down. Like, old Saint Nick over here. Get the fuck up out of here, man. Crumpus ass motherfucker. He's calming down. You sound like a Saint Nick ass nigga, man. Get out of here, man. I'm good, man. But this nigga, man. I never felt so much type of kickback when I try to defend. When I try to defend a conversation, and everybody jump on my case, like, for real. That's how niggas getting down.
I'm saying, Star, like, no one was clowning you.
It ain't have nothing to do with this nigga.
No one was clowning you for defending no parts of the conversation. We were clowning you for that. Like, that wasn't the thing. Like, we was not clowning you for that. We was just trying to make you calm down a little bit, because, like,
this nigga ain't got nothing to do with
this
nigga ain't had nothing to do with the conversation, and y'all siding with this nigga. What the fuck is that?
Because he got his serious.
Why are you?
What kind of shit is that?
We just want to hear what he was gonna say.
Nigga, don't ask me no fucking question, Huey. Nigga, don't ask me shit, nigga. You an abracadabra ass nigga too, bro. I think you got some cinder. I think you got some Cinderella slippers on too, nigga. Are you fucking serious?
Look, I don't want to have to be loud and yelling.
I swear, this all magic wand ass nigga, man. You get the fuck out of here, bro.
You the man, bro. You got
whatever,
show,
man.
Bro.
Oh my god.
It ain't about me having a show, bro.
You stole the show, bro.
Y'all tripping.
This shit ain't even got nothing to do with certain niggas, and niggas just say they want to drop their own 2 cents or whatever sense they got, man.
Guys, all right. Look. It's been 20 minutes. It's been 20 minutes.
Whatever, man.
Yeah, whatever.
What?
Let's get to the topic.
Hold on. So he come, hold on. This nigga coming. Hold on. This nigga coming for me. So what you gotta say? Hold on. Let me hear exactly what you gotta say. What?
Me and you dialogue.
I come for you. I'm not
You say what? No, I'm not talking to you, Huey. Nigga, get your wandering ass wander. Get your motherfucking spell. Get your spell casting wand ass out of here. I'm talking to this nigga, motherfucking Black. Hold up, bro. Now what you got to say? Now, Black, what you saying now? What you saying?
I want to say here.
What you gonna say, Black?
Y'all would have been stopped, bro. Y'all just on here doing that because he's not here, bro. That's fucked up, bro. That y'all would do that on that man's channel like that.
Whatever, man. No, that ain't even the reason, Huey. You have no idea, bro. That's not the reason, bro. That's your reason that you saying, though. You don't even know how this shit started.
In my opinion, it escalated and it started because of him because of him, as he said, having his opinion about the knowledge of Asia versus Africa. There was an escalation after that, and then it continued for another 15 minutes, and then there was 5 minutes of joning. So my fucking point is, I wanted to make it even ground. Since I'm the moderator, it would only make sense to say, if that was a trigger point in the conversation, then let's agree on 3 mutual fucking things.
Pangea, Africa, Asia. Go. Finish what you were going to say.
And that's what it seemed like. That seemed like a trigger. That's why everyone started going to think.
But that's why I just gave it an even ground. If we can agree on those three things, you can say it's Afro-Asiatic, indigenous Asiatic. I don't give a shit. That doesn't matter to me. I just want to know the opinion.
I got a motherfucking gripe with your little viper ass right quick with your little slick ass. You think you slick? Who the fuck appointed you the goddamn moderator in the first place, goddamn it? Besides your goddamn self.
Okay,
I did not.
Little miss.
I did not.
Two.
Whatever, go ahead. I don't give a fuck. Whatever.
Yeah.
I was appointed moderator.
By who? Yourself?
Everybody except for your non-mutant ass. How about that?
All right, whatever. So I'm a non-mutant. Thank you for declaring me a non-mutant. I'd rather be a non-mutant than a motherfucking mutant, motherfucker. Fuck you.
I guess so. But guess what?
No, I'm still a mutant. No, but go ahead. No, go ahead. No, I'm fucking around. I'm done, bro. I'm done. Go ahead, bro. I just had to put it in.
You ready?
Okay. So as far as the topic at hand between me, Squid, and Illustrious, and as far as three mutual things, which would be you can consider whatever you want to consider it culturally by title. I gave some examples. Asia, Afro, Afro-Asiatic, Indo-Asia, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't care because everyone is identifying with that differently and that's causing a division. If we can agree on three things, Pangea, Africa, Asia, go. Finish what you were going to say.
I defer to Illustrious Cook or anyone else other than other two.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Now, we're gonna talk about this landmass that we know as Earth. All right. And I like to deal with this is why I stay at that 0 point. Like, because when I go to my 0 point, when you get to that point of existence at that point, right? Everything is right there. No matter where you go, everything is created at this 0 point. All the end, the beginning, and everything. I don't give a fuck if you want to separate it as whatever you want to. I'm with y'all. Y'all separate it. Y'all do it. Y'all claim it how y'all want to claim it.
Right.
Me personally, this is just me. I don't know about no research. I don't know about no documents. I can't even give you a time period. I can't give you a timeline. I can't give you nothing above. I can't give you nobody who tell you. I'm saying this is what I'm looking at. All of this shit is all one, and they trying to separate it all the way down as much as we can. As much as we separating ourselves through Africa, Asia, America, or wherever the fuck we separating our shit from, we got to know that we are the same people, just on different lands, talking another tongue, using the same tongue, but using another verbiage.
And as it pertains to sets of knowledge, the original topic at hand, I don't know if you came in, it wasn't the original topic, but we're on the topic of spirituality and knowledge. Or as you may want to say, forbidden knowledge, whatever the fuck, I don't care. But out of that topic, when we moved into that, the only thing I said, I gave an example and a question.